Hey guys. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on there with my countdown. It's doing something weird, but there we go. Ah, there we go. Come on in. Sorry, you got the echo there because I had the show playing on my other TV. Come on in. Jane is about to get back up on that stand. We have, this is, what is it? This is day 2, cross examination for Jane. I want to know in the chat, how do y'all think she did yesterday? Love you guys. I'm proud. I was working on being more on time for you guys, especially considering how court ain't starting today till noon. So it's kind of like, really, girl, what's your excuse? Here we go. So we are going to pull up the tweets now. Let me see what Inner City Press is talking about today. We have the black girl. She's got tweets as well. So, okay. It looks like Inner City is able to be back up on his job. He is saying, let's go ahead. He's saying he's going to be back in the courtroom today. She was spicy. Look, that lady was not, Jane yesterday was not playing with them people. She was not playing with the defense. She was like, what you're not about to do is twist my words. She very much spoke up for herself. She was very much not playing with them people. So here we go. Inner City Press says he is back up in that thing. Cross of Jane. He's going to be prepared for this. Ooh, hold on. And then there's another. I'm trying to remember, what was the name of the lady that I'll get it. I think it was like Jules, something about Jules that we were looked at yesterday. Hold on. Here we go. Jewel Mancy. Hold on. Jewel Mancy. That's not the name of the girl that Diddy allegedly took on that trip. No. No, that wasn't her. All right. Let's see what we've got for her. Juror saw text where Jane. Oh, let's do this one. All right, let's take a look at this. Jade Ramey. That's right. Oh, yeah. And we did look up Jade. Yeah, I got Jewel Mancy. I got her pulled up. I like what she's got going on over there. I'm mad. I'm just finding out about her. Do we know if she's a lawyer? Do we know Jewel's background? Simone, much as you can say she spoke up for herself, her answers rang like she was a willing participant to me too. I agree. For me, they sounded like she was a woman who wanted to please her boyfriend consistently. She was a woman that wanted to give him a reason to be monogamous to her. She did not strike me as someone who had been coerced. And I do hear you guys, those are saying, well, what about the substances? What about the substances? And I feel like the testimony that she's given that could be problematic for her in the future is how she talked about, he recommended that they do this thing sober. And she said she tried, but she couldn't. So she took a substance. Yes, Shepard, I do agree with you. Shepard saying Teeny Garagos, and hit that like, hit that subscribe as you come on in, that Teeny's style lulled her into a false sense of confidence. So I was thinking about that, guys. And for those who've been following the channel, hey, Lost It in Cali, as far as the styles. Now, many people were saying that Nicole Westmoreland should have cross-examined her. I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you think Westmoreland should have crossed her instead of Teeny? Oh, child, this is good. Ain't no substances for me, y'all. This is some ginger ale, and it tastes like a mocktail. This is fabulous. I actually initially I was like, oh yeah, Westmoreland would have clobbered her, but I think Westmoreland, she has that kind of a sassy Sunday school teacher vibe to her. I think that Jane would have gotten to, like, I don't know that theirs would have meshed as well as Teeny and her, simply because Teeny looks very mousy. Okay. She looked like Tuesdays. She's not very pretty. She's not ugly. She's not a supermodel. She doesn't look like competition. Teeny, very much. I call it a girl. I say a girl look like Tuesdays when I say they look totally forgettable. Because what did you do last Tuesday? Not this week, a week ago Tuesday. What'd you do? Nobody knows because it's forgettable. That's what it is. That's a way to nicely say, oh, she wouldn't look like much to say, oh, she looked like Tuesday. I think that because Teeny is so just whatevs, and her tone, and I know you guys can't hear the tone because you're not in the courtroom, and I was there in the afternoon. She looked like Tuesdays. That's right. Yeah, Teeny's tone is just very like la da da, and to where you don't feel like you're being set up. And I know that Westmoreland, she has different techniques, tones, and so forth. But with her tone, you kind of feel like you getting set up. Like, where's she going with this? Because I like how she says, so and so happened, true. And you go, true. And then da da da, true. And then true. So I can just see it. I say that to say I can see now why they picked Teeny. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with saying somebody like Tuesdays. BB said that's not very nice of me to say. Look, looks are overrated. I mean, we see right here, pretty don't get you much. Pretty got this lady cummed in by 4 men in one night. Pretty is useless for the most part. Yeah, it may get you a free drink here or there, but we're talking about long-term happiness. That is not contingent upon pretty or not. Pretty, yeah, who cares? It says, yeah, that could be true about Penny. But I will tell you this. If you have thin skin and you don't have a sense of humor, this channel won't be fun for you. This channel, because the law is boring, y'all. No, it's just boring. Boring as heck. So it's very difficult to take something so gosh darn dry and boring as the law and make it somewhat interesting. Now, so here's an interesting exchange that was posted. It said that yesterday, it says now, a juror saw text where Jane told Diddy that she didn't want sex with other men. After Cassie's 2023 suit, she texts, please stop drugging and using women. Diddy replied, you trying to set me up? This is crazy. You recording my calls? Ooh, child. Oh, this is good. Answer, I sent it. She says, I sent that December 7th, 2023. Without telling us what was in the screenshot, can you tell us why you sent that to Sean without telling us the context of the statements in the screenshot? She said, it was just something that was very triggering for me. Now, remember, here is, somebody gave me $100. Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. Oh my God, I was so worried I would have to start selling coochie. I don't have to now. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. I'm going to be able to stay for the rest of the week. I'm not going to have to sell a single body part, although I was going to start with feet pictures and a little bit of elbow, but it's ashy. It is a little ashy. Where's the lotion? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because at this big age of mine, honey, if I got to just now start selling a little buttercup, I'm not doing something right. I need to reevaluate some things. Yeah, just a little bit, just a smidge though. Just give them a little something. Somebody said, no, don't do it. Well, why not? I mean, and thank you. And thank you guys for helping me get to 65,000 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you. This is just, oh gosh, more oil. Let me get that Astroglide out. Let me get it for you guys. And I do got some baby oil gel. I got some baby oil gel back there. You know what? Let me go get that baby oil gel too. Hold on. Oh, here goes the Astroglide. We got it. Thank you. Y'all come on in here. Help me shake that Astroglide. I got a $100 super chat, which means I'm not gonna have to sell any cooter cat here in the streets of New York City, although I was prepared to do so. Hold on, let me get my baby oil gel. Wait. Okay. Here we go. Right here. I got it. It's the baby oil gel. Okay, we got it, guys. We're ready. Now it's not Johnson & Johnson because that wasn't in the budget. This is just CVS store brand. But boy, as we get into it, I'm just keep pouring this on my body like Diddy. Yes. New York prices are good. Oh, they're good for cooch selling. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. It is hotter. More oil. Yes, more oil. Okay, now we're going back to the context. This exchange is really fascinating to me. As we get ready and we start with these tweets, I just wanted to go over this exchange. Now, remember the context here. This is an exchange between Jane and Diddy. This happens December 7th, right after the Cassie lawsuit. And what was particularly triggering for Jane regarding the Cassie lawsuit was that was the first time she realized he had other women doing these hotel nights. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I would assume it makes it worse. Like you're feeling like, wait a minute, you traded in Cassie or Cassie broke free from you. And now you've got me doing this nasty stuff. Oh, Nadia is saying, don't sell my coochie, just do implied nudity. Well, that's good. We're going to start with my elbows. Oh, let's put some baby oil on his elbows as we read and legally analyze this. Okay. Okay. Here's what it says. I'm going to read it to you as I moisturize my elbows. It says, I sent it December 27th. The question, without telling us what was in the screenshot, can you tell us why you sent it to Sean without telling us the context of the statements? Look how glistening. Look how my elbows glisten. She said, can you please read what you sent after the text that you sent after sending that screenshot? I don't know how it's a little sticky. Oh, but wait, I got to pour it in more. The more, okay, there we go. Oh, it's giving OnlyFans. Oh, I'm sorry. One more elbow. She says, I said, I'm crying. I'm so triggered by this because it's too close to some nights I felt forced. Ooh, she puts in writing. Some nights I felt forced. Please stop drugging and using women for your fetish nights. It creates demons inside of us and real trauma to women who are only doing it to please you. Let that pain on other women stop with me. Leave women alone who don't want to do those. Woo! Y'all, hit that like video. See my elbows? Look at my elbows. This is serious. Y'all heard that? Somebody said $100 for elbow grease. Yes. Oh, she said, let that pain on the other women stop with me. Leave women alone who don't want to do those. And then they said, read the last two sentences of that text. I said, leave women alone who don't want to do those nights with you. Hire prostitutes and stop emotionally harming women who love you. Oh, hold on. Good question. Were these texts sent or draft? It was sent because then Diddy got mad. Remember, here is what the context it says. It says, Juror saw text where Jane told Diddy she didn't want sex with other men after Cassie's suit. She texted, please stop drugging and women and using women. Diddy replied, you trying to set me up? Now here's the reply. How did Sean reply? He said, you trying to set me up? This is crazy. Effing crazy. You recording my calls? Because, of course, at this point, he is probably more oil. Woo! At this point, Diddy is probably paranoid. Like, oh, wow, is she about to set me up? And then it says, at that time, did you understand why Sean was sending you a text like this? I just felt like he was really paranoid. Ooh, I said it. And a bit in a frenzy around this time. Were you trying to set Sean up for anything? Absolutely not. Were you trying to sue Sean? Absolutely not. Did you have any plans to sue Sean? Absolutely not. Have you ever filed a lawsuit against anyone? Absolutely not. That's not true. Let me see. I guess that wouldn't be called a lawsuit, but I guess. Have you ever filed one against Sean? No. Have you ever had a lawyer send a demand letter to money for Sean? No. This was on direct. So this was not her and the defense. This was testimony on direct between her and the other. And so in effect, I want to see, what do you guys think of that? I think the most poignant part is she wrote, please stop drugging and using money for your women for your fetish nights. It makes demons inside of us and real trauma to women who are only doing it to please you. But here's the thing. If the reason you're doing it is to please your man, is that coercion? I'm asking y'all in the chat, babe. Is that coercion? What do you guys think? And I'm reading the comments. All right, we're going to switch over to Inner City Press. Let's see if they've gotten started. I feel like they're arguing motions and stuff left and right. So I've got it on both screens. Yeah, nothing yet with Inner City Press. No text yet. That quote rang true to me. However, it doesn't meet coercion. Yeah. I think calling it rugging is, first of all, it was smart of her. Because now he knows, don't you play with her. Can't knock that girl upside her head again, ever again. Thank you, Carrot Fields, for the super sticker. I truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'm going to get a pair of panties with that one. And probably a blouse from Marshall's, which is my favorite new store right up the street for me in Harlem. Thank you so much. I don't know, but to me, it sounds like a yes. Okay. Like a yes to what? Yes. Yes, coercion. I don't trust her, Brie Clark says. I don't think Jane was coerced in any capacity. I think Cassie was for sure. I think Cassie was too. Ellie says she thinks that that Jane knew the feds were watching. What about the force? I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Do you feel he trafficked her with force? Remember yesterday's reenactment? We had played it from Armand's channel. Yesterday was, here we go. Yesterday was where there was the fight. They talked about the fight, or the day before. They talked about the fight. Now remember, the fight that was described was the one and only instance, of trafficking by force. And so allegedly, we are to believe that the fight that she started is the one that is supposed to be, is the one that's supposed to be trafficking. All right, I am going to read from the transcript of the fight. Okay. All right. Let me see. What page is this? Okay, 219. Now, hold on a second. Let's see if I can do a different share. Yes. Finally, I figured it out, y'all. Sorry, I'm slow. Your favorite lawyer is slow, honey, when it comes to some of this technology. All right, I'm going to read for you. I'm going to read, and as best as I can, reenact the fight. Now, this is what happened. Gotta wet my whistle so I can do a good job for you guys. There's a lot of crap on my desk. I didn't know y'all could see all this. Good Lord. All right. So what happens is that Jane sees on something on social media that makes her feel that he went to Wyoming to visit Kanye. That's my side note, to visit Kanye. Hit that subscribe as you come on in. Hit that like. He went to Wyoming to visit Kanye, and she with his family, and she finds out about it. What the hell just happened to the share? Wait a minute. Here we go. You went back to that share. There we go. Here it is. So this is Jane. She says, is that a woman who was younger than you? Yes. But still over the age of 18? She says, yes. But what else did you say to Sean? I just remember calling him a pedo. I said, if a girl can't buy her own drinks, what makes you attracted to her? Why did you say if a girl can't buy her own drinks? Because I believed when they started that she was younger than 21, but over 18? Yes. What was your tone of voice when you were saying this, starting this argument with Sean? So the government is acknowledging she started the argument. She said, I think it was getting heightened. Were you angry? Yes. And were you getting angry? And as you were getting angry, what happened next? He bent over and I pushed his head on the counter. When you say he bent over, where were you and Sean during this argument? Well, we were sitting on the counter, kitchen counter. Were you sitting at those stools we saw in one of those photographs earlier? Yes. And you said Sean was bending over. What do you mean by that? Like he was about to tie a shoe. And as he bent over, what did you do? I pushed his head into the marble. How hard? How hard did you push his head into the marble? I gave it a good shot. After you pushed his head into the marble, at any point that night or later that day, did you see any marks or injuries on his head where it hit the marble? No. What happened after you pushed his head into the marble? I just remember that I went to the master bedroom. Jane, before you went to the master bedroom, before that, I started throwing candles everywhere. I started taking all the candles and I started throwing it. And I started taking all the glass and I started throwing it. Why were you doing that? I was angry with him. Why were you angry? It was a built up mix of everything that I was angry and I hated him for it in that moment. What were you saying to him as you were throwing these things? I said, I hate you. I just kept saying, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hated him. Did any of the glass hit Sean? A lot. Well, it says, did any of the glass hit Sean as far as you could see? Well, I remember a lot of wax went on Sean, and I don't remember striking him with the glass directly. Hold on. If wax went on him, she is throwing lit candles, y'all. Your girl is throwing lit candles. I did not realize that before. Did y'all know she was throwing lit candles? Girl, you could have burnt down them other people's house. See, that's why they made you pay 2 months security deposit, because your cuckoo ass behind was going to be in there. They said, we cannot afford for people to be in here tearing this place up. Okay. Old girl is in here throwing lit candles at people. So again, they said, did any of, hold on. This is crazy. Hold on. They really said that. I can't believe this. They really said, so they said, well, did any of the glass hit Sean as far as you could see? I remember a lot of wax went on Sean, but I don't remember striking him with the glass directly. Well, when you say wax went on him, do you mean wax went on his clothing? Yes. What did Sean say in response as you were throwing things at him? I can't recall, but I think he was probably cursing and calling me crazy. Apparently, she's accustomed to that. Do you remember his tone of voice? Angry. At some point, did you try to leave that living and kitchen area? Yes. Why did you try to leave? Because I knew that things were going to escalate, so I just wanted to lock myself away. Where did you lock yourself away? In the master bedroom. Now, at that point, before you locked yourself away, had Sean touched you at all? No, not yet. And at that point, what had Sean said to you that made you feel like things were escalating? I just remember he was just calling me effing crazy and that I put my hands on him and I just wanted to close the door behind me. And I was like, just leave, just leave. Who are you saying just leave to, Sean? As you were saying just leave, where did you go? I went into the master and in the master bedroom. What did you do with the door to the master bedroom? I locked it. Objection. Can you rephrase? What, if anything, did you do with the door when you walked into the master bedroom? I locked it. What happened after you locked the master bedroom door? He kicked it open. Who kicked it open? Sean. Where did you go after Sean kicked open your locked master bedroom door? I went into the master bathroom. What did you do in the master bathroom? I locked it. You locked what? I locked the door. The door from where to where? The bathroom door as I closed it, and I was in the bathroom. Now, what were you saying as you locked the master bathroom door? Objection sustained. Were you saying anything as you locked the master bathroom door? I just kept telling him to leave. What happened after you locked the master bathroom door? He kicked it down. Who kicked it down? Sean. When you say kicked it down, do you mean literally off the hinges or just open? Literally off the hinges. What happened next? I went into my closet. Is your closet a walk-in? Yes. What did you do in your closet? I locked my door. Your closet door? Yes. What, if anything, were you saying as you locked your closet door? I just kept telling him, leave, just go, just leave. His house as well. This is his house too. Remember, throughout the whole, because she kept referring to it as our house. It says, throughout this whole time, was Sean saying anything? I just remember him calling me crazy and then a few other things. But later on after that, I'm focusing on when he kicked open your door. What do you remember him saying then? I think I remember him saying like, Miss Comey, let's go on. Okay, after you locked your closet door, what happened next? He kicked it down. Who? Sean. Where did you go next? I went all the way to the hallway area and I was about to leave through the front door. And what happened as you were about to leave through the front door? Sean, he kicked me from the back of my thigh and then I fell down on my bottom. And then he picked me up in a chokehold and he choked me. Who picked you up in a chokehold? Sean. Can you explain to the jury how Sean put you in a chokehold? He put me in a chokehold on the ground. He lifted me up and my feet were like this, dangling. I couldn't breathe and I was on my tippy toes. Did he lift you up by your neck? Yes. After Sean lifted you up by the neck in the chokehold, what happened next? I went for the front door and Jane, how did you get through the front door if he had you in a chokehold? Good question. I just squirmed out of it and I was just fighting his grip on my neck. I was fighting it. And I was just trying to get out of his grip. Now, Jane, before you got in the front hallway and before what you just described happened, had you changed clothes? Girl, what? Yes. She said yes. Now, mind you, this is what is supposed to be S trafficking by force. As I continue reading a few more pages of this, tell me, does this sound like S trafficking by force? Remember, she busted him in the head, knocked his head into the marble countertop, started throwing lit candles at him and glass, breaking glass and throwing that at him. And then he choked her. At this point, it kind of sounds like mutual combat, but I don't know. So he says, she said, had you changed clothes? She said, yes. When? When I was in the closet. So when you were in the closet with the door locked, yes. Why had you changed clothes? Because I just knew that I needed to run away and get away. Why did that require you to change clothes? Because my dress was too tight and I wanted to make sure that I just put something on to get away from the situation. Okay. She said, I'm going to get out of this tight dress so I can bust it down that street. I'm going to run down that street. I mean, you might want to keep that dress on in case you have to sell some coaching. Anyway, so what did you change into? A really big dress. Hold on, y'all. Your girl Jane puts on a dress to run away from, it does sound a lot like domestic violence, but she puts on a dress to run away. He can't say self-defense when he kicked down the door to assault her. That is correct. All right, we're going to get to this testimony, but we'll stop at this point. She said she put on a really big dress, like a really big daytime summer dress to run down the street. And what was on her feet at that point? High heels. So she puts on high heels and a new dress to run down the street. All right, we're going to go back to, we're going to start with the live testimony because I think that's enough stupidity for the first, 30 minutes that we've got. Tell me, there is a wardrobe change. Yes. While being trafficked, she decides to have a wardrobe change. That's what we've just established here, guys. High heels. Yes, we'll get back to that. Don't you worry. It gets stupider, I'm sure. All righty. Inner City Press is here. Maybe we're going to switch it up to the other girl. All right, let's see what Jewel Manzi has for her updates for today. Yikes, bakes. All right. All right, I'm still looking at the updates. Got 6 hours ago. I'm looking for the live testimony updates. Let's see. Yeah, running in 7-inch ill. Should have asked for that first. Let's see what CNN. CNN doesn't play around. So we've got, let's hit refresh on CNN. All right. Terry Garagos is doing the cross again. Defense attorney Garagos. Sabrina Clark said a bunch of drug addicts fighting. Basically, defense attorney Garagos is resuming cross. She says, "You have me feeling so taken advantage of," Jane told Combs after a 3-day hotel night. Jane testified that the longest hotel night she could remember was around New Year's of 22. She estimated it lasted about 3 days and involved 3 men. Jane said after New Year's, she saw on social media that Combs went on a vacation with another woman named Gina. Jane read aloud a message she sent him in January of 22, expressing her frustration about the trip after we had such an amazing New Year's week together. "You have me feeling so taken advantage of and regretting everything," the message said in part. Jane testified she considered breaking up with Combs after this. And here's what's interesting. I don't think her breaking, yes, it was a trifecta for sure. She had a triathlon of dicks. Bless her heart. I don't think Diddy's life would be any different if she had broken up with him. I mean, who am I to say that, right? Because I'm not in a relationship. I don't know how much he does or doesn't. Thank you for the comment about inner city. I don't know about how much he does, or doesn't, but it just sounded nuts. Okay, now we got it. I see it. I see it for inner city. Here we are. Back at it, guys. It seems like she's regretful. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that you said that, Mama Llama. Regret is not coercion. Where you being regretful is not sufficient to make something coercion. I just wanted to be clear on that. All righty. Now, Obi is asking why she didn't break up with him. I don't know. All right, so here we go. Judge, anything before the jury comes in, does the defense want to respond to the government on the juror issue? There is a thinly veiled attempt to exclude a Black juror, Miss Shapiro says. I knew that girl. I told y'all it was a Black lady. Well, it could be a Black man. Correction, it could be a Black man, but I know it was a Black person. AUSA, we looked at the record and found a lack of candor. Judge, we'll deal with it before the weekend. Are the jurors ready? No. Judge, well, we'll take 10 minutes. Here's the thing, guys. The reason they can say we'll deal with it before the weekend is the jurors don't know. It's my understanding, and I could be corrected on this, that they don't know which one of them are alternates and which one of them are the actual jurors. And that is because if the concern is that if you know you're an alternate, you're not going to pay as much attention as if you think that you are one of the official. Also, there are 6 alternates or 4, no, 12 and 4. Yeah, I think there's 4 or 6 alternates. So they have more than enough people to fill those spots. Because remember, on the OJ trial, They needed quite a few of their alternates. I think they ended up getting rid of 3 people. And later on, some of those people that they got rid of stated that they would have found him guilty. All right, next up. Waiting for the jurors, Combs is reading something, talking to Agnifilo on one side. Shapiro is a seat away. Shapiro's an older lady. I don't know why I thought she was going to be a bit younger. But yeah, Shapiro's an older lady. She looks like she really knows what she's doing too. If you know what I mean. All rise. Okay. Wow. So Garrigo says, I was about to admit this exhibit under seal. Can you read that, Jane? It's a message from December 21 between yourself and Cabral, the prostitute, after a hotel night. Yes. You had a pretty, and now Cabral was one of her favorites. And Cabral, child, what the hell was supposed to be last night? Cabral was on the Court of Public Opinion talking about his experience as a male hooker. How gray is Diddy? Diddy looks like a koala bear. He's pretty gray. Gray, all like bright, like a highlighter. He looked like my granddaddy, Papa Roosevelt. So it says, this was between you and Cabral after a hotel night. And Cabral is good looking, y'all. Yes, you had a pretty intense night. Yes. And Cabral was her favorite up until he blackmailed her. He says to you, you were talking so dirty to me. I love it. Yes, I'm being friendly here. After your long hotel night, you saw him with Gina? Yes. Oh, hold on, guys. Y'all, that is significant. Oh, he was big. Oh, she needs to say, girl, when you saw him on PH, what is PH? What's PH? It said he was big. Really? You saw him on Al's show. He's handsome. Yeah. Okay. I'll put up a picture of him soon. But it says, y'all, with her saying she saw him with Gina, that means Gina is doing the hotel nights too. That means he's got at least let me shut up. It looks like he's got a lot of these girls doing those hotel nights. And I believe Young Miami probably did her own version of them too. She said she liked people to urinate on her. That girl, there's no way she was escaped. He was doing this all around the board, honey. It said then Cabral wrote to you that he would be in LA and he would stay there to see you if you wanted. Jane said, yes. What did you say? It's my birthday weekend and you don't show me no love. Oh, didn't I tell you? I told you, I said, if the defense can come up with even one incident where old girl mess with these hookers without Diddy, she's done for. She's done for, in my opinion. It says, then you asked him to send you a personal video? Yes. That night you saw the Italian entertainer who we'll call the entertainer. She said, yes. And Sean had taken up with Young Miami. Yes. And you said, if you don't get your A out of the island, no party, right? Yes. Sean wrote you a note that you said meant the world to you. You told KK you wanted to make it cute and romantic. Wait. This says, then you asked to send him a y'all, it sounds to me like she's flirting with Cabral and wants to see him privately. Also, it says that night you saw the Italian entertainer. So she's meeting up with the hookers on her own. I don't see how this is going to be helpful. I need some beef jerky on that one. I need something to chew on. This is leaning towards not force, but sometimes she wanted to, sometimes she didn't. If you're taking these dicks by yourself without Diddy being there, you're going to have trouble with this jury. I mean, I don't help me. Flirting with the help. Yeah. Flirting with the help. Oh, no. Everybody was flirting with him. Okay, let's keep going. The Valentine's Day hotel night, having 2 men there. Was that your idea? What? It was. After these nights, it was crushing to see these things. What? Like Gina posting the love bracelet on Instagram, right? She said yes, because Diddy gave her a love bracelet. So now she's seeing Diddy is giving her same stuff he's giving his other girlfriends. Ma'am, how are you justifying? How are you justifying? Help me up here. How are you justifying choosing on Valentine's Day? Oh, here we go. Updates and more coming up. Okay. How are you justifying selecting? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not understanding. I need help. Yep, day 21. I'm not seeing it. Hold on. I am also going for some additional updates. Let's see. Updates and more are up. Where are they? Hold on. I want some ice cream. This ain't it. Okay, there we are. Sorry, we are still. Let's go back to this one. All right. Let's hit refresh. She's testifying because she was subpoenaed to, but that doesn't mean the prosecution is the problem. Because that don't mean just because she's testifying doesn't mean that she they did not need to add this count. I'm going to say it again. Think of it this way. The issue is that whatever sentence that he gets for S trafficking is going to run concurrently, means at the same time as the other sentence. It's not like they're going to stack the 2 different S traffickings on top of each other. So in other words, this can't help. This isn't helpful. Well, I think generally it's not helpful. Some people are like, oh, it's showing a pattern. But I think other witnesses have come in and been better witnesses and given better testimony regarding his pattern of behavior. But I told you, if there is evidence of her even one time screwing these guys without Diddy, how do you explain? How do you say it's coercion when she does it with Diddy? I need help here. It says, here, are you planning to reach out to Sean and perhaps reach out to the Italian? I was still doing that then. He says, can you FaceTime? Yes, that's what he said. 10 days later, you had another hotel night. Maybe. Let me refresh your recollection of seeing Mr. Combs and not having a hotel night with him. It certainly did. So she showed her something and said, yeah, it certainly did. Gara goes, no hotel nights until the end of June. She said, maybe. So here's what's interesting. Remember, the basis of the fraud is Diddy wasn't giving her enough quality time. And I have seen some people in the chat who are saying, oh, yeah, that is a sufficient basis to them for someone to be considered an S trafficker, because they are liking it to what prostitutes do. I'm sorry, what pimps do. I think the general public may have difficulty making that correlation because she hasn't been abused as far as physically. That was mutual mortal combat between the 2 of them and their candles throwing and all of that. That and the fact that in this trafficking situation, not only was that the only instance of violence, it was initiated by her. And it did not occur until 3 years into the relationship. So you can't say, unlike Cassie, that the reason she continued to do the hotel nights was because she was afraid of getting her butt beat. No, she got her butt beat because she busted him in the head. Mutual mortal combat. Now, Garagos is saying here, this is an example of a night with no hotel night. The relevance there is if The prosecution's argument is this was fraud by failing to give her times where there were no hotel nights. Them submitting into evidence where she acknowledges that there were nights that they interacted that didn't have a hotel night defeats that argument. Even if he almost killed her, that's fine. But that's not why she was doing the hotel nights. If it's trafficking by force, the force has to be what's keeping her in the hotel nights. And it wasn't. How are you getting there if that force didn't occur until 3 years in and she's already been doing this for 3 years? How do you explain the other 3 years? That's where the fraud or the coercion have to come in, right? And what I'm saying here is I find it ridiculous that the argument is this was trafficking by fraud because he promised her quality time. However, ridiculous as that may seem, if in fact that's the argument they're going to buy, I think it is smart of the defense to be like, all right, so we'll show you some times that he did give you quality time without those nights. Not only that, but here's the thing. At no point has she defined how much quality time is sufficient. Because what's interesting is she never says, I don't want to do any more of these nights. She instead just says, I want more quality time, and he promised me quality time. And he promised me trips. All right, so you got the trip. And she says, well, yeah, but on the trip, he brought the guy. Okay, but did you have to sleep with that guy all the nights or one of the nights? The problem is when you have a fraud standard of something as vague as quality time, maybe he felt the quality time he was giving you, it's quality time in addition to the nights. Because it'd be one thing if the agreement was no more hotel nights, but that wasn't the issue. It was that she was supposed to get more quality time. So the question is, how much quality time is sufficient quality time to make this not as trafficking? And I don't know. Y'all tell me. Oh, yes. Timmy said, I think Diddy is living vicariously through his girlfriends. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's get an update on these tweets. All right. Okay, we're waiting for that update. Who on the prosecution interviewed her? She should have never made the witness list. Remember, she didn't even become a listed victim until a month ago. These people are playing. They playing in our face. They playing in your face. Here, let's get a quick little clip of Armand describing a bit of this. Here we are. Because you know nobody can describe it better than him.
Slammed her on the ground and had the girl on the phone. And while she thought she was calling the girl started cursing her out. You stupid mother, you be. And Diddy had her on the ground. Diddy was holding her on the ground and had the phone by this time and letting the girl curse her out. So now she held to the ground and Diddy got the phone to her while the girl cursed, while she thought she's telling on the girl. The girl is over here cursing her. You bit, you bitch, you ain't. Like, listen to this shit. Listen to this shit. Yeah, curse her out. And then she got to the point she said, shut the fuck up. He's beating my fucking ass right now.
I'm sorry.
And she said,
I'm so sorry. That part just tickled me because I'm like, you're calling the other girl to harass her. And then now you're telling her he's beating you up. And what you want her to do about it? What do you want her to do about it? Like, okay, we're going to wait for some more of these tweets. We want some more of these tweets to load. But this is just, yes, yeah, she needs to go. Oh, you guys, so let's talk about who's coming up next. Guess who the next witness is? Guess who the next? I need to see some guesses in the chat. Oh, and I did set this up. So if you are rewatching this on replay, you should be able to see the comments because they're hilarious. Jane is doing, I think Jane was playing mind games with Diddy. I agree. Hit that subscribe button, guys, if you haven't already. And definitely hit that subscribe. If you want to be able to comment in the chat, you certainly can. So I don't know if Lorianne is coming as well. But one of them is going to be the custodian of records for the jail. They are supposed to play some jail phone calls of Diddy tampering with witnesses and or trying to bribe people. Oh, I was hoping for Brendan Paul. Somebody said Saucy Santana. Yes. Not sure because this is for the defense. No. They are waiting for the last witness for the prosecution. Yeah. And there could be more than one, but they're supposed to finish up with Jane on Thursday. Tomorrow is when they're supposed to finish with her. And then they're supposed to call their last witness. So that tells me the government probably only has like one more person. Because if they're supposed to, because that pretty much only leaves Friday to both direct and cross that person. So that's what makes me think it's not going to be a security guard. Because for a security guard, they would probably need more than one day. Because they'd want to really get some juicy stuff. So I don't know. Maybe Lorianne's not coming. I don't know. Somebody said Jane is still omitted from the stand. Jane is still on the stand, honey. She's probably fatigued. Yeah. And to think, oh, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much for that super chat. Again, Cindy, thank you for helping me so I don't have to sell any body parts. It's giving disgruntled ex. I hear you, Jimmy. Disgruntled ex. And Jim said, Jim Jam. Jim just said a materialistic basket case. I think that's pretty accurate. That's what it's seeming like. Lorianne Gibson was his choreographer for many years. She was on Making the Band. She was the choreographer there. All right, we got some more text. Let's see what we got. It says, let me refresh your recollection of seeing Mr. Combs and not having a hotel night. Remember, that's important because all they have to show is that he did, in fact, give her some nights without hotel nights to defeat her accusation of fraud. Yes, it means KK is not testifying. That is correct. KK is not testifying. Yep, that's right. Combs here. Mr. Combs is saying, I'm jerking my D off, thinking how nasty you're going to be to me, right? She said, yes. He says, call Italian or Paul is free. And you liked Paul is free, right? Yes. You have a choice and you chose. She said, yes. Gary goes, he responds, I told Paul 11 p.m. Is that okay? And let's watch corn first. She said, yes. He says, London Hotel. What would you get? Stripper shoes, shorts, maybe whips. Oh, why shorts? I was really turned off by their shorts. So I got other shorts for them. It was not so fun to wait for them to be erect. I started to get things on the side so that they could get erect. I got pills at the store. Rhino pills, y'all. So those things really do work, huh? They really do work. Yeah. Mermaid said, I can't play this around my mom. She's going to think I'm listening to something dirty. Yeah. Diddy uses emotional manipulation for sure. When in reality, they're props in much deeper internal fantasy. Yeah, I see that. Somebody on the Diddy docket said, are we getting anywhere? No. I'm telling him. We ain't getting nowhere. I like that docket. I think she realized her only way of seeing him was freak offs. So she was enticing him with it. And that I think that's true. I agree. But that's not coercion. That's not coercion. Yeah, if you're doing this because you know your boyfriend's got, oh, here we go. If you're doing this because you know your boyfriend's got a whole bunch of girlfriends and you got to compete with the other girls because you want to be the number one stunner, that ain't coercion, baby girl. Here we go. Here's some updates from Joel Manzi. All right, we'll start with number 3. Jane says, after New Year's, I saw on social media that Sean went on a vacation with another woman. Her name is Gina. Did you communicate with him about that? Yes, I did. I sent him a message in January 22. I was really upset. What did the message say? You have me feeling so taken advantage of and regretting everything. I also mentioned how we had such an amazing New Year's week together. Did you consider ending the relationship after seeing the post and sending that message? Yes. I thought seriously about breaking up with Sean after that. Let's go back to the time period shortly after your birthday in 22. You testified earlier that you and Sean had a hotel night on your birthday, correct? Yes. And then you became upset after seeing him on vacation for another woman's birthday, Young Miami's birthday. Yes, I was upset. Did you ask Sean to come back from that vacation? Girl, I did more than ask. I made him come home a day early. What did you say to him? I told him, if you don't come here right now, we're not going to do anything that you want to do. Hold on, guys. See, that's why we look at multiple sources for these tweets. Excuse me. Order in the court. Order in the court. Yeah, put on some ear pods. It's going to get nasty today. It's going to get nasty today. I need you guys to focus on that. Jane says, if you don't come here right now, we're not going to do anything you want to do. In other words, we're not going to have any more hotel nights. It sounds like she's holding these over his head. Girl, you can't do that. You can't do that. Hold on. Yeah, you can't do that. This is goofy. This is real goofy. Looks like she's the one doing the coercion. Boy, sounds like a hung jury. I think for this count, it could very likely be hung. Yeah, oral testimony is definitely a form of evidence. Sadia said it's ussy punishment. She was very desperate for attention from anyone with money. Whoop. Is that coercion? I think she's the coercer right now. She didn't coerce that man back home early, a day from this vacation with the other girl. Y'all, that's manipulative. The reason why that's manipulative is she agreed to the terms and conditions and wanted to change them later. What she testified to yesterday, as I was in the courtroom, is that she knew he had other girlfriends, but she did not agree to him having a public relationship with anyone else. Because, of course, that's humiliating for her. No doubt about it. But he didn't agree to that. And that's why they seem to have their fights. Literally, they seem to fight more about the girlfriends than even the hotel nights. Now, she says she would give in to them. So that is her coercing him, if you ask me. That's how do y'all think a jury is going to read that? I was upset, and I told him, if you don't come here now, we're not going to do anything you want to do. Did you tell Sean he wouldn't be having a Valentine's Day party with you? Yes. That was the first time I pulled that card. The hotel night card. Yes. Oh, it's over. It's over. It's over. Garagos got her. Garagos just called this a hotel night card. Yes, there are 8 men on the jury. I don't see these men going for this. Not this count. Remember, the jury gets to determine each trafficking count separately. They have to determine each separately. They've got to look at the facts of Cassie's separately than the facts of hers. Hit that like button, guys. But she said that was the first, as in other times, she would pull the hotel night card. So if you have a hotel night card, that is a choice. Because that means you could have pulled that card indefinitely at any given point in your relationship, and you chose not to. You would use that to get what you want, and you would give that to get what you want. What about the kids? I don't know. It said me personally. I don't know how she didn't get pregnant by him. He must have made her be on birth control. But also, I don't know why that man wouldn't have done a little snip the way like he liked to go raw. Garagos says. But remember, Jonathan Odie claimed that the reason that he got paid so much was because Cassie gave him the herpes. Gave him the herpes. So I don't know how true that is, but Garagos says, after Sean returned early from that vacation, did you plan a hotel night for Valentine's Day? Yes, I did. Can you describe how you prepared for that night? I decorated the hotel room with rose petals. I also planned to have 2 entertainers there. Oh, you're going to get an encore. You're going to get double duty because you came home early from your other girlfriend. You're going to get to see 2 dicks in my face tonight. What a way to reward him, guys. What a way to reward him. Cassie's got the hot pockets. Oh, gosh, we don't know. Somebody said there's not enough Plan B in New York City. I think you're right. I hope these people still have double trouble. Have living. Oh, my God. Yeah, 2 in your face, boy. That'll get you. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Boy, she's a busy lady. By entertainers, do you mean men who were paid for these encounters? Yes. Was it your idea to have those male entertainers there at the same time? Yes. Had you ever done that before? No, it was my first time. It's her first time, guys. It's her first time double slanging. Yeah, double slanging, guys. Mermaid double slanging is wild. She's a double slanger. Also, if you're watching this, you can put the chat replay on the screen. The commentary and the comments actually are quite entertaining. So what we establish here is that today, for the first time, Jane is acknowledging she wanted double danglers in her face to reward him for good behavior. So it sounds like she likes to give and take these hotel nights based on how he is treating her. Listen, if they find him guilty on this charge, I'm appealing it myself for him. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. She used his addictions against him. I don't know about that one. Somebody said that was a lie. Yeah, this is wild. The prosecutor put 3 liars up there. I don't think Mia was lying, and I don't think Cassie was lying. Yeah, well, I feel like the only thing that Jane is lying about is whether or not she was trafficked. And she actually may not know that, or whether she was coerced. I think this is for Jane. This is all about Jane wants more control in her relationship and does not like being controlled. Jane is sassy. I think it was wise of the defense they're now eliciting the strength from her to show she ain't no little punk. This girl ain't no little wimp. You can't just treat her any type of way. Like she said, you can't just talk to Jane any old type of way Because Jane will go toe to toe with you. Jane will throw a lit candle in your face, okay? Mess with Jane if you want to. You're going to have candle wax sliding off the tip of your nose. Try her. I don't think Mia was lying. Here's why I say that. Classy about Mia. As we were waiting for more text to update. When I was in that courtroom and I heard Mia's testimony, and I think it was something you just had to hear, her delivery and all of that, she wasn't lying. She was not. You cannot fake the way in which she testified and the what. No, there was no way. What is my hair doing? I don't think that Mia was lying. And it is consistent. Mia had no incentive. This okay, if you're gonna help me, if you want me to believe, I mean, not saying you want me to or you have to. Here's the thing with Mia. Mia, I need to understand, why would Mia lie? I have represented men who have been wrongfully accused of R-wording, even R-wording their child. And whenever you are bringing those cases to court, if you want a jury to believe this person is lying, you have got to give a jury a reason for it. I'll give you an example. In one of my cases, it was a daughter, and the daughter was 14 years old. I said, how the hell are we going to get a not guilty? We got a 14-year-old girl taking the stand. She knows exactly what that is. You know, it's different how can be like a gray area if there's like a 5-year-old kid or something. She was 14 and she was 11 when she claimed her dad did this to her. I said, we don't have to explain to the jury why this baby girl would lie. So what did I do? I did my little investigation. Come to find out what was going on, and she was being mistreated at a mama and them's house, and the dad was going for custody. This was the first time in her whole life that the dad moved for custody, and it wasn't of just her. It was her and her 2 siblings. Well, guess what? Child support, and they were getting food stamps, child support, all this stuff from the government for those 3 kids. And what nary person in that household working in the household was as follows: the mama's boyfriend, the grandmama, the grandma boyfriend, and the great grandma. None of these people worked. They were all just collecting government services, and they were getting $2,400 a month for these children. Therefore, if those kids went to the daddy, it was going to starve, air quote, the household. And therefore, all the grown folks who were living off these kids would have to get up and get a job. So they went with the biggest possible lie that they could and had that little girl lie. Here with Mia, that's what I need to know to help me understand why Mia would lie. What is she getting out of this? It's not money. She couldn't even get any money from this. She's never sent a demand letter. Mia is not the balcony girl. Mia is not the balcony girl. Mia is the worker who said that he SA'd her. That's Mia. She's never sued him. She has never even made a demand. None of that. None of that. So she's not balcony girl. Let's be clear. Not only had she sued him, she couldn't. She got hired a lawyer. Her lawyer got her like back pay, overtime, those things. Mia, where's the DNA test? You don't have to have a DNA test. Mia testified and told you she had told no one she was going to die with this secret, told no one her entire life until she told the government. No, she did not get a settlement for, correct. She got a settlement for working. She made no, and this is why I believe her. Mia never ever mentioned the R word and took the $200K. If there was a time to lie, she would have lied then and said, oh yeah, and by the way, my case is worth more than this $200K because he SA'd me. She did not do that. And because she took that settlement, and that settlement was for any and everything that happened to her on the job, she was unable to, she literally can never, and knows she could never get paid for saying this. So Jane is not the final prosecution witness. She'll get sued if he gets guilty. No, she won't. No, absolutely will not. Mia did not sue him for SA. She sued him for unpaid wages and got paid. My point is, if there was a time to lie, it would have been then when she was getting a $400,000 settlement. That's what I'm saying. She can't sue for the R word because she already settled. So what is she getting out of? That's my question, Kim. That is my question. So she had an employment law case. Remember, KK and other Diddy staff told her, listen, because she went back and forth with HR about what was going to be her final paycheck. You know, when you get laid off from a job, because she got laid off, they said they weren't doing Revolt Films anymore at the time. So she went back and forth with HR, and HR, or whoever the staff was, she said KK told her, hey, you're going to need to get a lawyer to negotiate your final pay, your all of that stuff. And so she did. And she never said a word about the SA. But the way I'm telling you, when I saw her testify, she testified and spoke the way that victims, when they are first making a public outcry, testify and behave. And when that happened, and I'm looking her in the courtroom, and I'm like, why? This happened a decade ago. Why is she behaving so traumatized to this level still today? And that's when she said she just barely told investigators within a year ago. So I said, okay, this is her first time ever disclosing it. She barely told a therapist, like within the last year was the first time. So I realized it is fresh for her. Those things pulled together is why I believe Mia. All right, let's go back to these tweets. Okay. Let's go back to these tweets. If you can help me understand what Mia could be getting out of it, I'm open to another understanding. All right. So Jane has just acknowledged that here's the situation. If you're just joining us, I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. We are breaking down today's testimony of Jane's. We're trying to wrap up with Jane. Hopefully we can get her off this stand. It would be great if we could get done with her today, but I think it'll be tomorrow. But today, what they just established is that Jane was so mad when he took Young Miami. So he took her away for her birthday. They went away for, I think, like a week. But then for her birthday in 22, he did a hotel night where she got two dicks. And then for Young Miami's, he flew her and her girls out for their birthday. She got so mad, she demanded that he come home. And she said, if you don't come home right now, we're not doing any more of the hotel nights. And she admitted on the stand that was her first time pulling the, quote, hotel night card. So apparently that was a thing. She pulled the hotel night card. And now he came back, and Valentine's Day was shortly thereafter. She threatened if she did that, they weren't going to have their little sexy time for Valentine's Day. So for Valentine's Day, she spends it with him. She's rewarding him for coming back early. Reward is my word. She did not use that word. She's rewarding him by giving him a double dick night. This was the first time they're having two male entertainers at the same time. And this was her idea, she stated. Here it goes. Let's turn to these messages exchanged in March after another hotel night with Mr. Combs. Do you recall what prompted those messages? Yes. Sean had recently made me delete a photo of some food that I posted. It was something that showed we were together. And after that, what did you see online? I saw a post from Gina wearing a necklace that matched a bracelet Sean had given me before. What was your reaction? I was upset. In the messages, I told him to make Gina delete her post. I said he was giving me anxiety. Did you express how that made you feel? Yes. I told him to see these things were deeply hurtful to me. During the spring of 22, did you and Sean continue having hotel nights? No. We went about 2 months without one, even though we still spent time together. Girl, what is we talking about? Y'all help me. I'm not understanding. Y'all, okay, we're back to Jane now. I'm not, okay. Remember, the fraud The S trafficking by fraud is because it's not that she thought he would stop the hotel nights, but that they would have more quality time that didn't involve hotel nights. She just said they had 2 months without a hotel night. That's not what she done lied on direct. On direct, she said 100% of the time. I'm getting pissed. I'm about to find it in the testimony. She said 100% of the time there were hotel nights, and that only 30% of the time did she get to spend time with Sean. And they asked her, like, how is that possible if you only get to spend time with him 30% of the time? She was like, well, sometimes he'd be too tired and da-da-da-da-da. Girl, why is you in here lying? Okay, let me see if I can find that 100%. Hold on. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, but no, I got some other good stuff. Okay, let's keep going with this testimony. I'm gonna rate myself a note. I'm gonna try to find that where she said 100%. Anyway, Sean suggested that she says, no, we went about 2 months without a hotel night, even though we still spent time together. Do you recall what happened on June 19th of that year? This is 22. She said, yes. Sean suggested that we have a hotel night. How did you respond to that suggestion? I said, not really in the mood for that part. Don't want to make you mad. How did he reply? He said, all good, and then suggested doing a role play scenario instead. Did you go along with that suggestion? We ended up having a movie night instead. We watched old hotel night footage and porn. Well, ain't that the quality time? Ain't that the quality time? She's too old to be acting like a high school schoolgirl with a crush. This case is a waste of your damn tax dollars. I definitely think Jane is either slow or potentially an oops. I am crazy. He should stay loyal if he is. That she could have gotten a job, but not now. Diddy doesn't need to be found guilty on any of the S trafficking charges to still be found guilty on the other or go to jail, so that we are clear. This is clear. Yes. Thank you, Tiffany. She did say that. She said 100% of the time with him, but that was spent with hotel nights. You are not telling the truth, ma'am. This is now contradicting what you just testified. And again, she said she didn't want to do it. Here we have a text where he says, all good. Gary Ghost and Jane read aloud some explicit messages between her and Sean from July of 22. Here, Combs says, I'm jerking my D thinking about how nasty you're going to be to me, right? He says here, call Italian, or if Paul is free, and you liked Paul is free, right? He gave you a choice and you chose it, right? Yes. He responds, I told Paul 11, is that okay? And then said, let's watch porn first, right? She said, yes. He says, London Hotel, what would you get? Stripper shoes, shorts, maybe whips. Okay, we've covered that part. Okay. She said she was really turned off by their shorts. We saw that tweet before. So she got other shorts for the guys. Oh, she's getting a wardrobe. They're going to have a wardrobe change. Hey. Somebody said Jane's Essence Festival card is revoked. Was she ever invited? She said she didn't like the shorts they had on, so she bought him a new costume. She got him some shorts. She said it was not so fun to wait for them to be erect. So she started to get things on the side so they could get erect and go faster. She said she got pills at the stores, rhino pills. It says the next day, he said in the message, want to do dinner at 9? Bring the freak bag just in case. Right. Lingerie and the rest. But you didn't have a freak night. Let me refresh your recollection, and this exhibit is under seal. So we got another non-freaky freak night. He says, I'm about to work out with Paul. Then I want to see you. You say, hair up. There was probably a FaceTime between these two. He says, did you want to hit Italian, right? Yes, I didn't want to. Sean says, here, Paul is all we need. And you say, LOL. What did you say? I'll go to the store unless you get a head start. What do you mean? Go to the hotel ahead of me. But then you spent several days at his home. Maybe. Maybe. I love how she says maybe when it's something that's not like helpful to her narrative. Yeah, Paul is definitely Diddy's fave. Remember, Paul is also Diddy's personal trainer. Hey, Ebony. It says, did you message Sean the following day after that quote movie night? Yes, I did. What did you say? Last night was amazing. Yo, if I dated a guy who couldn't get aroused unless watching porn, well, I wouldn't be dating him anymore. That would freak me out. Because you only know the stuff he's doing in front of you. But Lord have mercy, when you're not around, ain't no telling. It says, Paul was one of Combs' personal trainers. He role played as Shaquille O'Neal in the trio's SEX fantasies, where Jane was Kobe Bryant and Combs was Michael Jordan. They labeled it the trifecta. They did talk about that yesterday. So I'm actually going to find that in the transcript and we'll read that for you later. I know y'all want a reenactment of that trifecta. Her whole story is just like Alex Fine was a trainer. That's right. No, that man was definitely not in a freak off. Note that most of the men are black guys. Yes. Poor Kobe is turning over in his heaven right now. Kobe is like, how you put me in this? Shepard said Teeny Garagos is surgical with her stuff. All right, let's see if we got an update. If not, I'm going to go find the trifecta. All right, we finding this trifecta now. All right. All right, I think I'm finding it. Hold on. All right, here we go. We got the trifecta. We're going to switch it over, y'all. Oh, yeah, I'm going to need some more props for this one, but this will be fun. You ready for the trifecta? All right. Hold on a second. We're going to switch this over. No, that is not how Cassie met her husband. Y'all messy in this chat. Y'all hit the subscribe. Hit the subscribe. All right. Okay. So here we go. Do you remember what was the nickname? Here we are. It says, do you remember what was the nickname that you, Paul, and Mr. Combs had for each other? Trifecta. Can you explain? Trifecta? I don't even know because it's 3, and I think Sean was the one who said trifecta, and then it became trifecta. Would you compare yourselves to sports stars? Yes. Who? Kobe Bryant. Who is Kobe? Me. Okay. And who was Paul? Paul was, I forgot, Shaq. The Lakers help you a little? Yeah, Shaq. Okay. And who was Mr. Combs? Jordan. Okay. Michael Jordan. Yeah. MJ. Do you remember during your experiences with Paul or when you would speak to Paul that you would call him your boyfriend? Playfully flirtatious, like call him your boyfriend, not that he was your actual boyfriend, but playfully you would call him that. In some instances, I would playfully say these things. Okay, and you called him and Mr. Combs during these nights and on these videos, your boys, right? Once yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you remember telling Paul that you were happy you got to explore your sexuality with him? Yes. And was Paul really nice to you? Yeah, he was nice to me. And you really did like him as a person, right? I did. And then you testified on direct that you wanted to have more control over your situation and you would find other entertainers to bring in. Objection. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the trifecta. What? Yolanda, you're going to hell. Yolanda's going to hell, guys. Yolanda said this is the book of dichotomy, verse 10. Yes, Jane. This is just terrible. This is just wild. All right, let's see. I'm going to check other updates. Let's see what CNN is saying. Okay. Let's go to the update from CNN. All right, Jane acknowledges texting that hotel night was fun, but says feelings weren't directed at Combs only. Okay, girl. The jury saw more texts between Sean and Jane from about a week later in July 2022. In the messages, Combs suggested a quote hotel night with either Paul or another entertainer. When Jane told him that she was kind of icked out by a boo-boo the other entertainer had, Combs agreed that a person was a no-go and arranged a hotel night with Paul, according to the messages. Jane testified that Combs only gave her a choice between two entertainers, as though it wasn't an option to skip a hotel night altogether. Jane also confirmed, when asked, that she thought she recalled spending a few days just with Combs after the late July hotel night. And Jane confirmed that she and Combs had another hotel night at her home on August 30th. The next day, Jane texts Combs saying in part, "Oh, that was so much fun, baby," according to messages discussed in court. She then sent him a long message about how much she loved and appreciated him. "My love for you is unconditional and for life." Remember, she said on the stand yesterday, she still loves him. Jane confirmed that she sent these messages after a hotel night, but she testified that the feelings she was expressing were directed only at Combs, that she liked him, not the hotel nights themselves. All right, I'm gonna ask y'all something. Do y'all think if he is found guilty, and let's say he's found guilty, but only gets like 10 years, you think she gonna wait for him? I say definitely. Now she gonna have other dicks in her mouth, okay? She's gonna do it to other people in the meantime. But I feel not only will she wait for him, I think they all wait. Majority, I won't say all, but I think he'll have a lot of women waiting for him as long as the money is waiting for him too. Ooh. Thank you, Shell. Thank you for the super sticker. She said, no, not waiting. And let me clarify, by waiting, I don't mean and not having anyone else. But I think if she thinks he's successful and will still have coins, she would try to be the last woman standing. If she thought it could lead to like marriage or something more stable, but that is an if and only if he has money left, if the government don't take it all. All right, we've got another CNN update. It says in February of 23, Jane texts Diddy asking if he could send her something for her birthday festivities. She testified she asked for $15,000 to cover buying an outfit and dinner for her and her friends. She confirmed that he did, in fact, pay for that dinner. Jane later traveled to Miami to celebrate her birthday with Combs. She texted him asking if Nobu, a sushi restaurant in the hotel they were staying at, was the only dinner option and suggested they try something different. She testified she was trying to get out of the hotel. "I'm asking if he could please romance me outside of the hotel room," she testified. The jury saw photographs of the couple eating at Nobu. Nobu was good. Why isn't KK testifying? Because she's not going to be helpful. You got to remember, they only call someone who's helpful. If they don't think they're going to be helpful, they're not going to call them. Are they bringing charges against her? I don't know, but we'll see. Probably not. I think if they don't get Diddy, they're not going to get anyone else. Like, they're not going to go for anybody else. That would be my guess. He would never marry that. He's not marrying anybody. He has way too much to lose. No, there are no conjugal visits in federal prison. The only place with conjugal visits is California. Mm-hmm. Somebody says Marie says she better find some skills in a new retirement plan. Jess, you going to hell. Jess said Janice Collins' wig needs a channel. Jury will not connect with these ladies. I'm going to agree. Yeah, or if the lawyers' appeals and lawsuits don't take all the money. Nobu is cool. I like their hotel. All right. Here we go. There's another update. It says, all right. What do you see? All right, so here's one. We're going back to Inner City Press. He says, you really did love him, right? Yes. Do you remember seeing Sean in September 22 and not having a hotel night September 9th? I'm not sure. Now, do you see that you saw him but no hotel night? That is incorrect. September 4th, we took a jet to Vegas. He performed. Then we had a hotel night with an entertainer. Do you remember seeing him on September 20th and not having a hotel night? I'm not sure. Let me show you this. Does it refresh your recollection? I guess I did. As in, had a no hotel night. Did Sean pay for your birthday dinner? Yes. What was the restaurant? I can't remember the name. You had a great time? I had an okay time. You right. Is Nobu the only place? How about something outside of the hotel? He conveniently put me at a hotel with the Nobu. I suggested Poppy's Steaks. That's a nice restaurant in Miami. So I've heard. She said, Valentine's Day the year before, he was in a different country. You wrote, get your ass back from that island, right? Yes. Then at Nobu Hotel, you accepted it. I would say I went along with it. You said accepted. My stuttering was trying to find the right words for the pressure that I felt. Pressure. That's a favorite word of her. More Astroglide. That's right. Hit that subscribe. Hit that subscribe, guys. More Astroglide. Was that when they were walking outside and she had that white dress on? I'm not sure. Jess was like, just like Karen Hooger's wig needs a channel. I feel like they should have left Jane out of this too. They could have gotten there without Jane. Dang, $15,000. She should have asked for $20K and balled out. It says, my stuttering was trying to find the right words for the pressure that I felt. Gara goes, you mean agitation? Yes. You said he gave you your birthday gift. A necklace? Yes. Did you take this photo? Yes. It was under seal. It was a Van Cleef necklace? Yes. What is a Van Cleef? A jewelry brand that's high end. In that photo, I had already taken substances. Any type of affection made me smile. You took a mirror selfie. Unfortunately, yes, she says. Sean gave the entertainer a condom, right? Yes. Are these your texts with Cabral? I was high. It was 2:40 in the morning. UCT time, all right? Yes. So it was night, East Coast time. Yes. You invite Cabral for the next day, but the ex would have worn off by then, right? In these nights, I repeatedly took X. You say you will book his travel for the next day, right? Yes. What did you write here? I wrote, I appreciate everything you did for my birthday. I want to give you everything you want on Valentine's Day. What did you mean? the necklace and your lovemaking, only with regards to him. Now, girl, you lying. You lying. Y'all, look at this picture of the girl in the necklace. She's lying because you know what type, you know. And she said, I want to give you everything you want on Valentine's Day, because she knows what he wants on Valentine's Day. You lying. Somebody said she's the most entitled woman of the year. Oh, a woman to say him. The amount of sick men on here acting like you can't expect gifts without sleeping with strangers all night is scary. It's not that. It's that she's not consistent. She's not clear on her no. Because if some of the time she's planning the nights and other times she's saying no, and then other times he says, all right, we don't have to do it, and they don't do it, it creates a gray area of confusion. With all due respect, ain't he married to Baby Love's mama? No, they're not. I don't know. I don't know that they're married, but they could be, to prevent her from being called as a witness. Sure could. No, Jane is not suing Diddy for anything. That was made clear on the direct testimony. Yeah, Jules says she agrees that KK won't get indicted unless Puff is found guilty. Somebody said, Kayla said, I know her baby daddy been punching the air. Ain't nobody been watching. Oh, let me be quiet. After this trial, he really isn't getting married. He's about to live it out with Paul. Ciao. All right. All right, we got some updates. Okay, yeah, about the birthday. $15,000 for her birthday. When I tell you this lady don't have no kind of money management skills, mind you, this lady she's asking for things like $15,000 for her birthday, and she still ain't fixed them doors at her house. They done busted up them doors June of 24. She took $12 or $13,000, gave $3 to the hooker, kept the rest, and said no, she wasn't gonna fix the doors. It was too much work. She couldn't find a door. She had needed to find a door company. This and that. The girl just be making she don't have good money management skills at all. It's not her gift. All right. Now, this is her talking about the necklace, and that when she said she appreciated the stuff, she was talking about the lovemaking and only with regards to him. Here it goes. Then you send him photos of your guys in the hotel room. Yes, you didn't tell him you didn't like it until you saw him with Carisha and Turks, right? Yes, it was very hurtful after enduring what I endured. Again, that's an after the fact complaint, sis. And it makes it sound like you're truly just complaining because you don't want, you're truly complaining because you're envious about Carisha's birthday celebration. And note they're using Carisha's name. You reached out to Cabral under the pressure of my lover. It gets under my skin when she calls him her lover. I'd rather her say partner. It's something about my lover. You reached out to Cabral under the pressure of my lover. You asked him and he gave the man a condom. At the very last minute, thank God, you wrote to him. I loved and appreciated every detail you put into my birthday. I wrote that with regards to Sean. You wrote that to Sean. You stopped talking to him. I was heartbroken. I flew to Paris for Fashion Week. You enjoyed it? Yes. So she's heartbroken to see that he spent Carisha's birthday with her. Girl, you should be used to this now because he did it for the first time in 22 and now again. Eddie said that girl works for the defense. She does sound like an airhead. Lover. My lover. I did it under the pressure of my lover. Yes, she despises Miami. Young Miami. I am Kim West. I am disappointed in the lawyers defending this man. It's weird. What's weird about it, Kim? It's not even that lawyers are defending him. It's like people that know the law know that this version of the facts as applied to the law is ridiculous. Look at ABC. Even the legal analyst on ABC, it's not defending him unless you're talking about his legal team. It's people that are applying the law to the facts and understand how it works. We are literally all saying the same thing. The lawyers are saying the same thing. Bloggers will say different things, but that's because bloggers aren't lawyers. Diddy got these girls fighting for his bi-curious behind. I know Jane really went off. Oh, yeah. She had to feel a way when Dana got pregnant. That is so true. Can somebody tell me in the chat, when did Dana get pregnant? Yeah, everything is about motion and not the law. Over here, it's about the law. There are times when the law gives an unfair ruling, but we got to go by the facts as presented. I've said before, even with like when I was following the Tory Lanez case, I think Tory Lanez shot that girl, but I also said each day up until the prosecution rested their case, I was like, oh, it's either going to be a hung jury or he's going to get a not guilty. Then when it was time for the defense and the defense could have just rested, I was like, they just need to rest. They called the one person that put the pow in Tory's hand. I was like, oh, well, now he's going to jail. He has to go to jail. Because when you have the one neutral witness put the pow in your hand, you're screwed. They're not fighting for Diddy. They're fighting for exclusive access to his unlimited funds. Yeah, you have to prove the standard. It's not personal. Well, I see the guilt too. That's fine. I just don't see it on this charge. Are you saying that Bruce sees it on this charge for Jane? Doubt it. Highly doubt it. Anything is possible, but I doubt it. If you watch, I don't know if you watch any of my other videos, but I literally break down RICO and how it's been proven. But I think a lot of people aren't able to understand this is a count by count, guilt or innocent. It's not a whole case thing. You have to look at each person and each count, not each person, because there's one count for Cassie and there is one count for Jane. Okay. Thank you so much, Coach. You're amazing for the super chat. You're an amazing attorney and funny. So much respect. I think she liked it, that they were using it. I think she liked it and they were using him too. What's my sign? My sign is Capricorn, but my astrologist told me to tell people that I am Sagittarius. She said they would understand me better because of my personality. She seems more mad about Miami than the baby mom. That's true. I think it's because the baby mom has not been public. I think what hurts her the most is I saw the RICO too. I was the first one to say that I saw the RICO, Kim. There we go. Yeah. We're talking about Jane and that this S trafficking by fraud is a joke. Absolute joke. S trafficking Jane by force is an even bigger joke because the one issue of force did not happen until 3 years into the trafficking or 3 years into the S acts. Total joke. And not only is it a joke, but it is a slap in the face to true victims. If I was Cassie, I would be mad because it's making it more difficult for Cassie's case to be found, for him to be found guilty there. Regret doesn't make you a victim. Yeah, I think when it comes to the law, people have difficulty understanding that you can be objective and applying the law at the same time. Because I'll tell you certain things that go towards one way, like earlier today, that text message Jane sent in December of 23, telling him, you need to stop drugging girls. That was very helpful for the prosecution. Dana is Love's mom. That's right. Dana in 2022 is when Dana got pregnant. I bet that was probably fairly early in the relationship, but she was definitely probably hurt. For today, I don't know that I'll be able to make it to court. Court didn't start until 1. And I had a hearing this morning that I had to cover, that I had to attend. So I couldn't. This is exactly why I follow your channel. Thank you. Yeah, we got to do law. Because, baby, feelings. Oh, I feel like he needs to go to jail for something, for sure. But I also think RICO's been proven, and as I've said as well, so is prostitution. I see no way. Thank you. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate you. I don't see any way he gets out that prostitution charge. Somebody help me. I don't see out the prostitution or the bribery or that bribery. That bribery is, they got that bribery on lock, baby. All right, let's refresh. Get us a little update here. So a lot of people are thinking that Jane is working for the defense, and I don't blame you. Amber Speaks Up is making an interesting point. She says, reminder, Jane testified she is only 3 months into therapy, and Diddy still pays for her housing. Prosecutor knew she was unhealed, and defense knows it too. Trauma survivors are challenging subjects, even with PrEP. There is still more trial to go, and I anticipate she will be the least sympathetic of all presented. I'm with you. Yes, Miss Amber, I'm going to have to agree there. I think because the thing about witnesses is the more relatable a witness is, the more credible. And there's just nothing relatable. I think that I'll say this, probably the 2 least relatable witnesses that we've seen so far, I believe would be Mia, the girl who said that was the worker that claimed assault, and Jane. Mia, because I just think a lot of people just can't conceive of not only you being continually over the years SA'd by your boss, but then begging him for your job back when you're laid off, and sending him text messages about how you love him and you're so happy to have him as your friend and da-da-da-da-da. And then with Jane, just her expectations and all of those things, I think, are not quite relatable, or not very relatable. Not relatable. I mean, okay, here we are. Update. This is a text message chain between you and Sean. Yeah. It said, baby Jane just blew her rent money. What did I say about the arson charge? Oh, sure. Hold on. Before I get back into this chat. So here's what I said about the arson charge. So I went back over and I looked at the racketeering standard. And with racketeering, which is different from RICO, it's a much lower standard, because with racketeering, he doesn't have to show that he orchestrated the arson. They just have to create reasonable doubt that he wanted it to happen and was in agreement with whoever did do it. So it makes it a lot lower. So with the arson charge, there is circumstantial evidence that could lead a juror to believe that he's guilty, and that's all that's required. It does not have to be any direct evidence. It just needs to be sufficient circumstantial evidence for that juror to believe that Diddy had something to do with that arson beyond a reasonable doubt. Hold on. Let me put it back in. Okay. I am pulling it up. Better all. All right, why we go? Okay, let's update with the text. All right, so it says, Make sure you can see it. This is a text message chain between you and Sean, March of 23. On the 2nd, he wrote, sorry I called you a B. I deserve this. Love, right? Yes. Then he writes, when can you come to Turks, right? Yes. Ooh. Sorry I called you a B. First of all, I don't want to be in no relationship with nobody that calls me cuss words. Then Garrigo says, you sent him a heart emoji and wrote, what we have is special, right? Yes. The budget for your trip was $100,000. Yes. And he spent $55,000. I don't know. Somebody said, who else feels sorry for her kid when he grows up? Y'all, the pain of knowing your mom took all of this stuff, did all of this stuff with men, and that it is now forever online, it's just got to be terrible. Can you imagine the embarrassment that he's getting at school? I mean, it is, oh, that's so sad. Mm-mm. Uh-uh. Okay. Okay, wait. Ooh. Yeah, spending all the money all over place, bro. Getting secondhand embarrassment. I feel sorry. That kid is going to be humiliated. Yeah, he probably gonna need to go live with his daddy for a while. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. All right. The intent that needs to be shown for racketeering is simply that the defendant knowingly participated in the enterprise's affairs. That's all. He just needs to be part of that enterprise. He does not have to show that Diddy himself performed that arson. Do we feel sorry for corn star kids? I do, Ed. All of that's embarrassing. Yeah. The best thing she can do is continue therapy. Yeah, she's gonna have to do it. And she's supposed to be leaving the country. So that's probably going to be a good idea. I wonder if she's going to Turks. It says, okay, so the budget for the Turks trip, they're saying was $100K, but that he only spent 55. She said, I don't know. Garrett goes to saying, you feel he didn't like you. You feel like he didn't like you up and leaving to Paris. No, he didn't. You went to the Mandarin Oriental and watched porn with him. Yes. Sean asked you about bringing Dawn. And given the situation, I said yes. See, that's the stuff. This is going to be her challenge. When she says, given the situation, in other words, I did this freak off to make up for him being mad at me. You having a freak off because you don't want your boyfriend to be mad, is it trafficking? Brittany, I don't know if she's moving out of the country permanently or just visiting. But you doing it to not so your boyfriend won't be mad at you. But what they're trying to connect, of course, is that it's not just not be mad at her. It's she is doing it because if he gets mad at her, he will cut off the allowance, is what they're going for, is what they want us to believe. Ooh, hold on. Oh, shoot. Hold on. That ain't what I meant to do. That is not. There we go. Give you a little update. No. All right. Okay. Let's see. We're going to get another update. Okay. I'm going to play you another clip while we're waiting for this update. All right. I want you to see this clip. All right. Here goes. We're going to do a quick little clip. of Armand explaining, elaborating.
And then I guess he called her and he said, well, now you're not picking up the phone? She said, well, you're gaslighting me. Because she wouldn't answer the phone. He kept calling her and calling her and she wouldn't answer. She wouldn't answer. She said she stopped answering Diddy's phone calls because he would try to get in her head and sometimes it would be working. She said, I missed a lot of work because you coerced me into being into this sexual lifestyle. You coerced me. So she was using big buzzwords. Coercion. So apparently, during this time, Diddy would say, charge me. Charge me. Just charge me. That's why Kathy got the money so quick. Because once it really hit, he just settled. So he told her, charge me. Tell me what your fee is. Because I don't need any loose ends. I don't need any issues. So she said, okay, I want $150K a year. I guess that's for the 3 years that she missed out on working. $450K for all the potential income I lost, plus pay my 2-year agreement for my apartment. So she wanted $150K a year, $450K for all the money that she missed for the last 3 years, and he needed to make sure that he paid her lease up. Diddy responds, fuck you. Don't ever text me again. You're a fucking liar. You opportunist. Fuck you.
It was so mad. He was so mad. Did he so sick of her?
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's so shame. If somebody texts me like, oh, I want a 150, 450K, and I'd have texted, nigga, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care what I said. Yeah, charge me, but you.
Now, mind you,
Diddy read that text message and seen with her.
Now, mind you, this is right after Cassie's video and Cassie's lawsuit and everything came out. So what this is like, this is setting up how Diddy was upset with her. Diddy would say, charge me to her. So in return, she's telling him, okay, well, I want $150K a year, which in addition to her house, girl. So people are like, dang, she's undercharging herself. But Diddy is cheap. He's cheap with who he wants to be cheap with. He wasn't cheap with Young Miami. Well, no, arguably, you could say he was cheap with her too because she was making him so much money.
Her demands were, and he said, you. Then he started going off in a rampage. You're a fucking liar. You're an opportunist. You.
Hit that subscribe.
Then she goes, you're the opportunist.
Like,
you exploited the out of me. You exploited me for your fetishes. Diddy said, B, I'm blocking your phone calls and calling the police. She said, you used me for your dick parties. Ooh. Diddy texted back, you fucking con artist. She said, you had me sucking and fucking all these different men for your fetishes. Then she said, I'm going to kill myself.
Girl.
I hate my life.
I'd hate it too if I was doing all that for
and Diddy said, breathe. Goodbye.
Breathe and goodbye.
And she said, I want to die. Diddy said, no. Then she said, you won't break me.
Oh, you won't break my soul.
He said, don't threaten to hurt yourself. Call me if you need me. She said, nobody loves me.
Nobody loves me.
You the one that called me and told me to charge you.
You're
and
right.
then you go and curse me to out and tell me you and call me a con artist when you told me to charge you. I never had you brought up the money, not me.
Somebody said you won't break my hole.
It was you wanted me to. You were going to pay me so I can get over my resentment.
Okay. I needed y'all to hear that part. This poor girl really feels that money is going to help her get over her resentment. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if she grew up very poor under very conservative financial circumstances. Because to think, okay, well, just give me $150,000 and I'll get over the resentment of taking all these dicks for you. That is wild.
So apparently the charge was he was paying her because she resented him. So he was like, how much is it going to take for her to no longer resent him?
Money
and when she said her price to release the resentment, he told her, you con artist, you fucking liar, and I'm gonna call the police on you, B.
Not the police.
How dare you? But the whole thing is, nigga, you told her to tell you what the price was.
Give that girl her
now
money.
She tell you the price. Now she's a con artist and a fucking liar.
No.
Like, girl, what? And it breathe. Bye.
Breathe.
It's crazy.
Talking about you going.
Yo.
Somebody said Jane should have called a lawyer.
So she says that, right?
Jane?
You said charge me. He said, B, I got these tapes of you, and I'll show your child's father these I don't give a.
All right. That's what we needed to talk about, guys. Yes, I'm going to go back to the tweets. Don't you worry. This is the blackmail. This is the blackmail. I'm going to let you hear the rest of it. Then we are going to legally analyze the blackmail. Because remember, with Cassie, that blackmail was the substantial portion of what they said was coercion as trafficking by coercion. Here we are.
Keep with me. I'll show everybody these motherfucking tapes.
I told y'all from the beginning that Diddy was going to threaten to show them tapes to her baby daddy and that he was going to enjoy it because of the animosity. And I said, this little girl didn't get it. When at the beginning of the relationship, she said, well, I have to be upfront with you. I have to tell you who my baby dad is because she knew they didn't get along. And he was like, I don't care nothing about that. That's what Diddy said. I'm like, of course he's not going to care. The person that gets you next loves it. Oh, sorry, I got popcorn in my teeth. Chad, I should have known better. That person who gets to screw their enemy's baby mom, that ain't gonna be the person with the problem. If anybody, it would be the baby daddy who has a problem. Here we go. This is the blackmail.
She said that she reached out to KK after Diddy Diddy threatened to release the tapes. I'm traumatized from my experience with him. When I tell you I'm traumatized, the trauma he has caused me, he starts arguing and yelling at me, charge him, and now he's blackmailing me after he wanted me to charge him so I can get over my resentment. After I asked him to do, he threatens me and says he's going to call the police. KK texts back, hey, babe, I'm going to read all of this and get back to you. But I haven't talked to P in about 2 days. She said, no need. It's just, I'm drained. But eventually KK called. KK said, I can assure you, he's not going to release the tapes. Both of you guys just need to give it some space. I always tell him, give these things space. Because we always end up in situations like this. And the prosecution said, well, what situations do they always end up in?
Right.
And she said, well, lawsuits. So give things space to breathe. January 2024, Viva Las Vegas.
All right. So this is what I want you to see. The prosecutors are claiming is his attempted blackmail. And I'm just going to tell you that that wasn't blackmail. So if you're joining us now, I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. We're breaking down Jane's Cross. We've got updates from CNN. We're going through actual texts that are almost verbatim and transcripts. We got transcripts from yesterday, the day before, all of the days. Here's why that's not blackmail. Context matters. The context of that is the Cassie lawsuit had recently come out, had been settled. I think this is before the video was released, but he's telling her, charge me. Like he'll say, charge me, because she'll do stuff to annoy him, and he'll say, charge me. So she tells him how much money she wants, and Diddy is cheap. Diddy is cheap with these girls. Someone put in the chat that Gina said she was only getting $5,000 a month. I believe it. And so she said that she wanted $150K a year and so forth. And Diddy got mad and was like, F you. Now, that's just like a narcissist, right? They ask you a question and you give them the answer and they don't like the answer. They want to throw a little hissy fit. So he done threw a hissy fit. And then she's cussing back at him. And so he says, basically, if you try to hold me to 150K, which he probably would say was a form of arguing or was a form of blackmail. It's not because you asked her. But he's saying, well, she tried to hold me that. So that's why I threatened to release the tape to the baby daddy. But here's the thing. If that was the only, and then she talked to KK and KK said he was just mad. He's not going to do that. If that was the only threat and the only time, and then they continued, that's not enough for coercion for trafficking. Why? Because you got to look at the time period that she was doing the freak offs prior to that date. That did not happen until like 2024. She started doing this in 21. So you can't say that threat is what made her do it. Now, arguably, you could say threats may have made her continue, but that is the only threat versus in Cassie's case, there was consistent and perpetual threats to her career, her income, her family, humiliation, that kind of stuff. So that blackmail threat here, it was absolutely blackmail and it was absolutely a threat. But I think that would go more towards harassment or one of those types of state crimes that would not be trafficking, because you would have to believe that that one incident alone caused her to take all them dicks. Bottom line is every witness has lied and committed perjury on the stand. I don't think so. Nah. To say no to drugs, folks, yeah, that's a good idea. It'd be a real good idea to do that. Let's say hell no to the drugs. All right, let's go back. Let's get an update on these tweets. Gary goes, you said if you'd known Paul would be there, that you wouldn't have gone to Turks. That was a big one, guys. This was where in the direct, this is where on direct, they started to claim fraud. Come on in. As you come on in, hit that subscribe. I'm sorry, and hit that like button. So she was claiming that Diddy having Paul be there at the hotel in Turks was the fraud that was the S trafficking. That was the first instance when they said straight out, this was an example of fraud. It said, you said, if you'd have known Paul would have been there, you wouldn't have gone to Turks. I would not have. Did you write to Cabral from Turks and invite him to come there? Yes. She said, yes, under the encouragement of my partner. Yes, I did. Where's the fraud? Where is it? Order in the internet court. Order in the internet court, guys. Order in the internet court. So in other words, now it depends on what you believe. Now she's saying she only invited Cabral because Diddy told her to, but see, that didn't make sense given she was very upset when Paul, so she testified. When Paul came, she was so mad. I was in the courtroom. I heard it. with my earballs. I guess I don't have balls in my ears. Anyway, all this talk balls. She was so upset that she ran. While she was in there in the room, she took off her bracelet and she threw it at him, and then ran out of the room. She's like, "I'm not your effing, whore," something like that, and runs out of the room, and out of the in the room, and like down the hallway or whatever in the resort. Diddy goes and finds her and says, "How dare you embarrass me like that? You go back in there and you apologize to Paul." That's what he said. So I don't know how you go from, and of course she didn't want to apologize to Paul. She did nothing wrong. It was her birthday and she didn't want no dicks in her mouth. That's fine. Not no strange dick. She goes to Paul. She does that. But she's saying she only invited Cabral. What it's beginning to look like is that what she doesn't like is that when there is a very disproportionate difference of power in the relationship, she doesn't like it when she doesn't have a say in things. And part of how she articulates or feels like she has a say is when she can demand things like him coming back early from being with Carisha, or him sending her some money. She gets mad when he don't send her money. All right, so she said she only invited Cabral because a partner encouraged it. "You were happy Sean gave you diamond. I thought it was sweet. You were glad to get diamonds. I just wanted Sean." You wrote, "I wanted diamonds," correct? Objection. Rephrase it. Do you remember telling Paul that you'd let Sean go too far and it was your fault? Yes. Your Honor, I think it's a good place to take a break. All rise. Yes, agreed. Okay. Now, I don't know who Amber speaks up, but I want to share what she wrote. Amber is saying, "Y'all ain't going to like this trauma-informed take on this. Trafficking often involves manipulation, coercion, and control that can make victims feel they have choices, including financial benefits or agreeing to arrangements. These apparent benefits don't negate the abuse. Luxury can be a tool used to maintain control and exploit victims while creating confusion about consent." I still believe that coercion is where they push you into a corner where you don't have an option. And I feel like you always have an option of whether or not you want to take dick for $10,000 rent. Sign up for Section 8 first. Let's start with Section 8. But I want to make sure that I put that up so that we could discuss that too. Granted, she was getting her butt whipped for it. She was the only one standing up to him and fighting back. But remember, she only got her butt whipped one time. So it still sucked. Yeah. Oh, yeah, jury. For sure. Jules, hung jury for sure. Remember, a hung jury means they can try him again. Not guilty means that's that. They cannot appeal a not guilty verdict. That's just it. Hung guilty. Hung jury. But I don't know with Jane. With Jane, I'm seeing with Jane, thank you, Marcus. She started that fight and lost. That's what it was. She didn't think, see, a lot of women that are crazy, I'm not talking about the same ones. There are crazy women that will hit a man or slap a man and will think because they're a man, they are not going to hit me back or should not hit me back. Now, I have to tell you, when it's a slap, it's like, come on, guy. But in this instance, she really didn't read the room because remember, this happened 6 months after Cassie's lawsuit. She read it page to page. She acknowledged reading it because she said that's how she realized that he was doing to her what he did to Cassie as far as the freak offs. I see one count of S trafficking too. But I do believe, I'll say this, if there is a hung jury on an S trafficking charge, they're not retrying it. Definitely not her charge. You can't have that woman back up on that stand. Nope. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment. She is. Any woman who, after seeing the release of him doing to Cassie what he did, who chooses to slam his head into a marble table, and then later she talked about punching him. You're bold. She ain't never scared. I was going to ask Simone, what are your legal rights? Oh, excellent question. What are your legal rights if you start the fight and you lose? So the answer is, are you still a victim? You are only a victim if, like, for example, you start a fist fight and he pulls out a pow pow and pow pows you. You can't do that. So you have to meet force with an equal amount of force based on what a reasonable person would feel would be equal. So if you're punching him and he's getting, or better than that, if he's punching you and getting the best of you, you're either going to just have to fight with your hands and just get punched and knocked out, but you can't pull out a pow pow. Now, depending though on how bad it is, so let's say this person is now slamming your head into the concrete. That happened with the Trayvon Martin case, to where you feel like, I'm going to get a concussion and he could unalive me. Then you could use a pow pow. But ultimately, if you start a fight, you don't get to be a victim, because that's what self-defense is. The other person gets to argue self-defense and that you're just bad at fighting. You're just a terrible fighter. That's okay. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of this case. We got to get emotions out and stick to the facts. She used weapons, though. What weapons would you say she used? Oh, the glass and the candles. And I think that this trafficking charge, as it relates to Jane especially, is a very cerebral charge. Smarter people, and I hate to say smarter people, but like more intellectual people might be able to really kind of parse through and say like, oh, I think this is some of the psychological manipulation that happens with traffickers, XYZ. They might be able to get there. But I think by and large, the average everyday Joe may have difficulty, especially because, remember I've said, the more relatable the victim is, the more likely it is a jury will find that to even be a victim. So I know many people are like on this channel, they're saying, you guys are victim blaming Jane. I still don't know if she's a victim. Well, I was about to say she could be a victim of DV. Oh, and here's the thing. Unlike with Cassie, the statute of limitations for Jane's domestic violence has not expired. So Jane could go to any LA courthouse, do a police report, and have Diddy charged for domestic violence for that incident. She could do that today if she wanted to. She could use it to civilly get some money out. She's got photos. She's got photos of the bruises. So yeah, she actually could still get justice, because the reason that situation is DV and it is not self-defense is because when you're given an opportunity to calm down, and in that case, she fled to the other room and so forth, and then you go and you drag her by the hair, you knock her down, drag her by the hair. That wasn't self-defense. He started a whole new fight. That lady had enough time to go in the closet, change clothes, and put on a new dress. Remember, she put on a dress and high heels. That's right, Miss Jones. Jane ran away, and he got pursuing her. That wasn't self-defense. Now, would the prosecutor's office take it? Probably not. I don't know that they would. Well, and also it would be a misdemeanor. It would more than likely be a misdemeanor. She was the aggressor, but when there is a time period that is given to calm down and for everything, which happened, she ran to the other room, locked the doors, all that. When he started knocking through doors, he became the aggressor of additional acts. Yes, they did remove Juror 6. Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, him knocking in the doors and it was still, yeah, she even had a chance to change clothes and put a dress on. But the strength isn't unbalanced between Diddy and Jane. So it can constitute self-defense even if she started the fight. The issue is the time frame between her running and locking herself in the room and then him kicking the doors in. And even when he kicked the doors in, she runs out and then he grabs her and pulls her hair. That was not self-defense. She was no longer attacking him. For it to be self-defense, there needs to be an active attack or a fear of an attack. And with her running out of the house, there not even a fear of the attack, that wouldn't be sufficient. There needs to be an active attack, and the attack was no longer active because enough time had gone by for all of those things to happen. Would I take Jane's case again? Hell no. 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 Whatever damages Jane got, she gets an offset for the money that she negotiated. And no, she started that fight. I don't believe in wasting my time representing people like that who start fights and then get mad when somebody knocks them in the head. I don't feel sorry for her. Sure don't. And so she got bruised and he didn't. Oh, well, he's dark skinned. It'll take a while for his bruises to show. But also, she knew her purpose was to show him how angry she was. She was successful, and so was he, knocking her however he did. All right, let's get some updates. Oh, I need a nap. Oh my gosh, thank you for the super chats. Hold on. Thank you, dark skin Jermaine. Average non-marital relationship. Yep. Not your mama. Thank you for the super sticker. Jane, no promotion. You had oil glide ceilings. Yeah, Jane's been busy, girl. Jane's been a busy girl. Here we go. What does it matter? Weinstein was found guilty on retrial. Are you late? I'm not sure. And then he attacked her. He did attack her in the shower. That's right. So that was another event. He got to slapping her. He sure did. And she punched him. But he started it. I don't know if she punched him in the shower or elsewhere. Yes, she did. She did attack him twice. That was the thing. They both. That's why I don't think the county would take it. Them two just was going to fisticuffs on each other. That lady, boy, when she get mad, boy. Oh, darn it. Here we go. Let's see what CNN is saying. Okay, court's taking a short break. Defense attorneys suggest Combs spent $55K on Turks. All right, I want to get to this section. Hold on. Dang it, what day was this? This is the 9th. Okay. Okay. This is what I want. I want to play this clip for you guys. Let me make sure I get to it. What day was this? I need the 9th. Oh, that was the 9th. All right. All right. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, we got that. The charge me. I want to make sure you saw that section. All right, I'm gonna play. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna continue the clip of Armand talking about the blackmail.
So this is important. So apparently she went out with a rapper. A rapper flew her out to Las Vegas. They went to a party, they went to a play, then they went to a hotel room, they went to a strip club. Long story short, They got back to the hotel room. Anton was there at the birthday party. So she was there with one of her homies, rapper, but then there was a rapper and his girlfriend.
We think the rapper is
She
Kanye
said
West.
the name, but they didn't say it in court. I'm so mad.
We think it was Kanye.
Child, she walked into the room and Anton was, you know, the escort, was in the living room banging out, you know, a woman in there. But the whole thing is that was the rapper and his girlfriend's room. So apparently these rappers, I thought it was just the gays that be giving it up like that. Yo, rich niggas be really on some wild stuff, and y'all really be liking male escorts. Like these rapper niggas, like y'all, like straight people, y'all really have a secret society. Y'all really be out there just bored because y'all don't have, it doesn't matter. You don't have a typical schedule, so you don't have like a Monday through Friday work week. So y'all niggas just be out there on a regular Monday having freak offs. Like I didn't realize, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's just like, we're bored, we're rich, we have nothing to do. Let's get up and have a freak off, and we can have as many people as we want, and then let's go hire these escorts is really winning. And if they look good and they fine, I'm sure they got all the stories. They probably be in all kind of different weird, crazy happening. That is crazy. So apparently she walked in, seen Anton. She like, wow, I haven't seen you in a while. They talking. She said she was there all of 20 minutes because it was just like a freak off in there, but it was like a friend of hers.
I like
and
Kanye.
they had, it was some other rappers and his girlfriend, and they had going on. And Anton was there in Vegas. Okay. So she said she left, but that's important. That's an important piece of the detail to know. Okay. So January 2024, she started getting her money back up. She started on OnlyFans. She was doing lingerie content, swimwear, and implied nudity. They said, well, what is implied nudity? This is like implied nudity. You know, when you, like, you can't really see it, but you can see it. You know what I mean? It's implied, but you just can't, you know. You might see a nipple, you might not. That's implied nudity. So, and then she was also getting her child support money. Diddy texted her after they went on a little bit of a break.
Oh.
I miss my pretty smile.
They so toxic.
She said, put a smile back on it.
Oh.
He said, I'm in Miami. I could fly out there. She said, you want to spend time with me for my birthday?
Oh.
He said, do you want me to? She said, I would love to.
Love to.
What you want to do?
Each other.
On your birthday. And she said, well, I'm a little traumatized from past birthdays, from having all the hotel nights. Diddy said, shaking my head. I didn't know the conversation was going to go there. I just want to see what you want to do. No one said we had to do all that. I just want to see what you want to do for your birthday.
Oh.
He said, no, it's fine. Right after that, you got old girl's birthday. And then Valentine's Day. So apparently, I think her birthday is like on the 11th, and the other girl's is on the 12th or the 13th. The other girl is my Young Miami. So her and Young Miami's birthday are like 2 days apart. And so she was like, it's fine. I don't want to do anything for my birthday because, you know, you have old girl's birthday coming up. It's my birthday. Then you have Valentine's Day. And I'm tired of it because I'm always getting the less end of the stick. She said she's always feel like she's getting less. And for everybody else, you know, he does his biggest one. I wrote, Diddy is here fidgeting. He is not feeling this and he does not look confident. Diddy is over there irritated, sitting over there like this, looking at her. He like, yo, because it was, I don't feel like this was a winning day for him today. He just wasn't just loving it today. He was over there looking like he kept moving his hands, but she was fidgeting too. I could see her because she had a stress ball in her hand. And she was squeezed in out that stress ball. And Diddy's hand is moving like this. And he was looking a little stressed today.
Gotcha. All right. So while we're going back to the updates, someone asked about Harvey Weinstein. I just want to update you. A jury has convicted him of the top charge in his retrial Me Too case. It says former mogul was convicted today of only one count the top charge in his retrial, but other, and jurors had a hung verdict on a third charge. Wow. The split verdict meted out a measure of vindication to his accusers and prosecutors, but also to Weinstein. After the landmark case was thrown into limbo, the partial verdict came after an extraordinary day in which the jury foreperson indicated he felt bullied, and Weinstein himself urged the judge to halt the trial, declaring it is just not fair. Wow. The jury foreperson indicated he felt bullied. Oh, baby. That one conviction, that one where he was actually convicted of, now they're going to try to appeal and get him dismissed off of that one if the jury foreperson is saying he felt bullied. But the question is, bullied into what? Was it bullied into the guilty verdict that was given or something else? Weinstein said, my life's on the line, and you know what? It's not fair. The former Weinstein declared after making an unusual request to address the court. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time to say this trial is over. His initial conviction 5 years ago seemed to cement the downfall of him, but that was overturned last year, and the case was sent back for retrial in the same Manhattan courthouse. This time, a majority female jury convicted the former studio boss of forcibly subjecting Miriam Haley, a producer and production assistant, to a criminal act in 2006. The jurors acquitted him of another criminal act charge related to Kaja Sokala, a former model whose allegations of forcible oral date to 2006, but were added to the case last year. And jurors were to continue deliberating Thursday on a charge that he attacked another woman, hairstylist Jessica Mann, in 2013. Under New York law, the charge carries a lesser penalty than the first degree charge he was convicted of. In other words, it could be that this guy ends up getting out on time served. It says deliberations teetered Wednesday, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's get back to the Diddy case updates. There we are. All right. Are we ready, except for the absence of Miss Comey? Yes, Your Honor. We've reached you. Okay, let's bring Jane back in. Miss Garagos, you may proceed. All right, Jane, you wrote, all I have in my mind right now is your passionate lovemaking, right? Yes. You saw him 2 weeks later and did not have a hotel night. Maybe. And remember, it's important that they continue to bring out times that they linked up and did not have a hotel night, because they're trying to do that to defeat the fraud allegation. Because remember, the fraud that she claimed was more quality time without freak off night. So if they're able to show she's not being honest or accurate about how frequently they were having these FOs, then arguably a jury could find that there in fact was no fraud, that it wasn't a 100% time thing. That's right. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. All right. That's what I wanted to find. That 100%. I'll find that for you guys later. All right. Let's see. We are waiting on more updates. Let's see what CNN is saying. Let's see. All right. CNN is saying the scene inside the courtroom, Jane's tone when asked about her loving text messages is becoming defensive. Jane is sick of these people. She is like, okay, enough is enough. Because whenever they finish up with her, there's going to be more redirect where the prosecution gets the chance to allow her to elaborate on anything. So Jane's on the stand. Jane is stroking her hair as she explains what is not said in messages. She wears her hair to the side, and she does this sometimes a lot. What's not said in messages, that she was referring only to her time with Diddy and not with the other men when she says she liked it and things like that. A few times, defense attorney countered by suggesting Jane did not differentiate that in the messages with Combs, asking her once again if that was an undertone. She keeps talking about, well, there's an undertone. There's an undertone. Jane has persisted that she was only referring to Combs. Combs's mama, sister, and 3 sons are in the courtroom. Let me shut up. He asked his mother if she ate anything. She said, in fact, she did. Combs greeted a few people in the courtroom when he returned from a bathroom break. They're following on. He does that. He waves like Mr. America as he comes to the courtroom, especially in the morning. He's quite charming. It's kind of weird. It's very weird. I'd be weirded out. Very weird. All right. Oh yeah, the divorce proceeding was today. Oh yeah, but so was his deport. So he just got deported. So they're probably going to postpone it. I absolutely will do that because even if he got deported, it don't matter. They're going to do it via Zoom. Portia is sick of that man and wants out. And just because you're not in the country doesn't mean now because he cannot physically attend, they can still do it via Zoom. They got Zoom in Nigeria. I sure will report on that. Okay, hold on. I'm getting the updates or waiting on them at least. Okay. Let's get these updates going. Okay. I don't know how this girl Jewel does it, but I'm very grateful for her updates as well. So let's see. All right, here we are. Okay. Gary goes, let's play this voice note. I believe there's no objection. I don't have it on my list, but if Miss Garagos represents, I have no objection. I won't. Give me a minute. I'll move on. Did you ask about hotels or Airbnbs? She said, yes. And Sean asked, how do you know there aren't cameras in the Airbnb, right? Yes. I wrote, they could be covered by security. We just saw it's our anniversary and we want to cover, we'll just say it's our anniversary and we want to cover them to feel comfortable. So what's interesting is I thought part of the purpose of the houses, of him buying her the house, or renting it rather, was so they could have more privacy for their escapades. Mm-hmm. What will Simon Eeyores' new name be? Oh, we need a new one. I don't know, but he looks like bologna to me, like burnt bologna in a pan. It's about his face is so perfectly round, like fresh bologna. You know, the kind where the edge it's got that little sticker on it, and you got to pull that little sticker off. I see bologna when I see Simon. I don't know. BOLOGNA. All right, Gary goes. What did you write to Sean? You make my child so happy. I love you. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, no. 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 You make my child so happy. How do you think the baby daddy is feeling? Oh, it's about to be messy. Her child. That means she has her child around him. It says, you make my child so happy. I love you. Oh, wait, I got to do it like she does it. This is what she did on the stand just now. It says, you make my child so happy. I love you. Take as much time as you need. I do remember. Are you ready? Yes. In this, where are you? A hotel night. Everyone keeps wondering where her kid is when all the debauchery is occurring. We want to know And it sounds like her kid knows who he is. If this man goes to jail, her child will put it together. And I do understand her real name isn't out there, but enough sources are alleging to who they think that she is to where if any source is accurate, son is going to find that out, and Lord, he's going to need his own therapy. I can only imagine the crap that other kids, especially other little boys, are probably giving him at school. He might need to homeschool for a little while. Oh no, it's summertime. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. That was a lot. Oh my gosh, mermaid, I said the same thing. I can't tell you how old the child is. I'll get in trouble. You could probably figure it out. You could probably figure it out. All right, here we go. You make my child so happy. And she sobbed. You know why she sobbed? She probably sobbed because she's like, oh gosh, now I'm really going to have to fight with the baby daddy. Somebody said he must be homeschooled for the rest of his natural life. Seriously. So does Cassie's children. See, it's different. Oh, I can't say that. Ew. There is a difference with Cassie's children. I'll say that. Oh no. What are the genders of Cassie's kids? I know she has 3 girls. My bad. Was that supposed to, right. To bring this mess into the home, he'd never make it to where others went to school. Either way, Puffy won because no other. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I don't see no top, like the caliber of man that she wants and would respect. I don't see. Maybe she can have to give it another decade or something. Now she could be. Oh, okay. It looked like this got to her. Just got to her a little bit. She needed a little time. But I was going to say, I could see her becoming a professional mistress. She could probably be a mistress for life. Because here's the thing. When you're a mistress, men are so much more generous because they know that they have to make it worth your while to stick around and shut up, not say anything. So she actually would probably be a really good mistress. And we know like she doesn't have the type of morals where she's like, oh, this person's off limits because, they're dating my homegirl or anything. Like I could never be her friend because I couldn't bring her around my husband. I don't have one, but if I did, I couldn't bring her around because, she would try to take him. She'd probably try to use him to help her pay her rent and stuff when this deal falls through. And this 31, okay, so Garrigo says, and this 3152, is it a message after the hotel night saying, I love living in the moment with you. It's our little party, rosé, whatever we were saying. Is that a moon emoji? Your Honor, may we approach? Sure. I'm probably mad that she's asking questions about an opportunity. A red pill will take her. Oh, good point. She is fit, friendly, and feminine. See, here's the thing. That girl is not that friendly. That girl will cold cock you upside the head. And then with her soft-spoken voice, if she wanted to, she'd call the cops and get you locked up and put right up underneath that jail. She gonna get somebody arrested for real. She wasn't the cause of Diddy's arrest, but she did cause an additional count to be added. Because remember, at first, the only trafficking charge was Cassie. But I was thinking about this, y'all, and with Gina. I was like, okay, what was Gina going to be the purpose of? Gina had no individual counts in this, whatever you call this. Gina had no individual counts in this indictment, sorry. Meaning there was no individual crime that Gina was needed to prove up that could not have been proven up with other witnesses. That's what that means. But what I think they were going to use Gina for is because this woman only has the one instance of violence that she herself started, I think they were going to use Gina as more instances of violence to encourage the jury to find him to be RICO form of guilty. That would be my guess. Because with Gina's testimony of getting stomped out when pregnant, that kind of stuff gives a pattern of physical abuse. This woman is not helping to across different people. This woman is not establishing a pattern of physical violence towards women because this instance was violence she started. I can't tell you that, her nationality. Jane is a case of hurt people for sure. Diddy wouldn't have met her child if it wasn't a real relationship. That is quality time. I'd agree with that. Oh, okay, Cassie has 2 girls and a boy. Yeah, I don't think Cassie was, because Cassie is being seen more as a victim. I don't think Cassie's kids would have the same type of problem. Although she was taking pee-pee to the mouth. Goggling with it. Ugh. Jane Doe is going to bounce back. I mean, she's really, really pretty. Who loves baby mama? An Asian lady who has a degree in cybersecurity, allegedly. Some have claimed that Diddy married Gina so that she can't be made to testify against him. I would not be surprised if the legal team would have suggested that. Sidebar's over. Garagos says, Jane, jumping to another exhibit. Is this a message chain between you and Mr. Combs in August of 23? Yes. Mr. Combs writes, movie night off the charts. You say, agree, right? Yes. Movie night. Look at this emoji. Movie night, Emily. Here we are. She says, I'll move on. Did you ask about hotels or Airbnbs? Yes. Hold on. And whether they could be covered with security. Okay, we did that part already. Okay. Let's see what CNN is telling us. It says Jane invites an entertainer on the Turks and Caicos trip, which is the very trip that she says was fraudulent, trafficking. He trafficked her to the Turks and Caicos, making her think it was just quality time for her birthday, and really it was supposed to be some third-party D-sucking involved. Turks and Caicos trip, but says she believes Combs wanted her to invite that entertainer. On cross, defense pulled up a message Jane sent to an entertainer that she saw frequently named Sly, inviting him onto the Turks trip. Would you be available to come to Turks by any chance? You would need a passport and I think a vaccination card. Let me know. I believe my lover wanted me to send a message to him and invite him on the trip. Jane previously testified that another entertainer, Paul, joined them on the trip and that Sly met her and Combs once they returned to Miami. Oh, you're right. That was not true. She also had testified she felt she had to see Sly in Miami because she believed she had ruined the hotel night with Paul in Turks. That is true. I need them to hurry this up, y'all. Jane, get off the stand. Get over here. My lover. My lover, lover. Lover, 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 lover. Lover, lover, lover. Stop calling him that. And then it says, Jane grows emotional while reading a text to Combs. She grew emotional and paused to wipe her face with a tissue when she read a text message she sent him in 2023, around the time that she moved into her LA home that he still pays for. She said, the fact that you are the reason for my child's joy is a feeling inside me that I can't explain. I love you so much as my friend, my lover, my boyfriend, even though you don't like that word. He hates the word boyfriend. Why do you think? Well, number one, he's a man, not a boy. And number two, it sounds too monogamous, probably. Jane has a baby. Yeah. Yes. What's crazy is she and her son around Diddy, but she's been kept away from his kids. That should tell you something. Let's use a little critical thinking skills there. So, Jen Owen said, I never want to hear my lover again. I'm with you guys. Jess here. I know that's right. I'll bring it to her. Thank you. Wait, is it S trafficking because Diddy paid the entertainers? No, 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 no. I'm ready for the jail calls too. Objection. I'm not this woman's boyfriend. Here's the thing. So no, let me make sure you guys are clear. S trafficking has to be done with coercion, not the payment. The payment is exclusively the prostitution charge. The difference between prostitution and S trafficking is that trafficking has to have either coercion, force, or fraud. Prostitution is just payment for sex without coercion, force, or fraud. So that's how come they can get him on the prostitution charges, even if there is no force, fraud, or coercion found. It's just purchasing hookers. Jane dabs her eyes with a text. Oh, yeah, that was a minute ago. Jane confirmed that she helped take care of Sean Diddy Combs after he had surgery and that they did not have any hotel nights that entire month. Girl, it sounds like he's giving you a decent little break. She testified they had a hotel night in early July of 23, and defense read aloud a text Jane sent Combs the day after, which said how much she loved him and spending time with him. Jane appeared to get emotional and was dabbing her eyes. Garagos then asked the judge if the lawyers could approach. Paula Tink Tink. After the trial, can Jane's identity be revealed? Good question. Yeah, because they're not going to like have a hearing and like call you to the court. So technically, yeah. Because I say that you're not supposed to, but there wouldn't be, I don't think there'll be a consequence. All right, this is the movie night. She agrees it was awesome. They're approaching the bench, so they're just sitting there. Also, night was canceled. Oh, this was an important thread. So they had a movie night that was off the charts. They agreed. Then they tried to do the All-Star night, but it got canceled. Now, remember, All-Star night is where she picks her favorite dicks, lines them up in a row, and is just going to go to town, whoop, 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 go to town on them in front of him to just really celebrate their love. It's called All-Star night because she's picking her 3 favorite penises in the world, aside from his. What a loving gesture. Jane's going to be writing books and doing interviews. Okay. Y'all buying that book? No, I'm not allowed to confirm who Jane is. How much longer do I think the case is going to go? Prosecution's supposed to rest by Friday. Defense said they need at least 2 weeks, but maybe 3. Jane needs to get off the stand. We listen and we judge. Do they have to show a paper trail for the payment of workers? No. Why would you need that if you got the person who's coordinating them, Cassie, or this chick, and you got the workers themselves up there testifying how much they've got paid? What would be their incentive to lie? They got paid in cash, so that's not going to be no. I think sometimes they may have gotten cash apps though. But no, especially if the Cash App had come from like KK or someone, then they would likely need KK to take the stand to do what's called authenticate the Cash App, which means confirm what it was for, etc. So they may not have that. Then sorry, I'm looking for since KK is not on the stand. You know what, guys? I think it's time for more oil. Yeah, I haven't put on any baby oil in a little while now. Where are my goddamn gummy bears? Gosh darn gummy bears. Starting to get aggravated. Let's hurry up with the sidebar and put on some more baby oil. Helps me think. Oh my gosh darn. They're still waiting. Still on that sidebar. I want to know what's going on. Yeah, she's doing OnlyFans. Whoever it is doing OnlyFans. I need mental help if you think paying $20K a month is cheap. Oh, I got my baby oil. Oh no, I buttoned up my sleeves. I can't really oil that much. More oil. That's right. More oil. More oil. Do we think the defense will call? Who do we think? Y'all let me know in the chat. Who do you think the defense is going to be calling? I have been told it will be star-studded, baby. So I don't know, but I want to hear some good guesses. I want some good guesses. She's enjoying sharing her life for the first time. It reminds me of Superhead. No, seriously. If you don't remember Superhead, you'll have to chat GPT it. She's truly amazing. I do like that baby oil now. It does smell funny though. The only thing I'm thinking about is baby oil. How do you put this all over your body and then put your body in people's mouths? Nobody wants to taste of that. I want baby oil and gummy bears. That's right. I don't know how I feel about the smell though. I need something. I need something else in this oil. Where are my gummy bears? Hold on. Let me see. Got a problem. I gotta find that. All right, we are still waiting. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find us another clip. We're gonna get another clip. Hold on. Y'all gotta see. I mean, it was just a lot. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna get this clip ready for y'all. Hold on. I need y'all to see this. Okay. I got this clip teeing it up. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on. We got it. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to share this for 220. Here y'all go.
Because they were secretive about their whole relationship. So you see where Garagos' line of question, it was kind of like all over the place. They talked about how she went to Miami for an event for 5 days.
We're
and
waiting for
how
an
that
update
was.
On text.
And they would start watching how it all started. They would be watching porn. You know, that's when it started.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was the wrong way. Whoa. There we go.
And Diddy would tell her, look at the man.
Hold on.
Diddy were together. I guess apparently they were running around on the DL, and she had to hit up KK, which is Diddy's chief of staff, because she felt like she got hit by the paps, the paparazzi. KK said, "Have Diddy call me?" Because she was like, "Listen, KK, we got paps. Can you call me? Can you call me? Because I don't know what to do." She said, "I'm shaking." KK said, Don't panic. People come to Diddy's house all the time. It's okay." Nobody knew at that time where she was at Diddy's house that she was getting all over the house. Okay? So she was a little bit nervous about that because they were secretive about their whole relationship. So you see where Garagos' line of questioning was kind of like all over the place. They talked about how she went to Miami for an event for 5 days and how that was. And they would start watching how it all started. They would be watching porn. You know, that's when it started. And Diddy would tell her, look at the man. Look at him. And they would look at the man and focus in on the man's big black while they were having. Now, if you know anything about PH, there's a website called, there's a production company by the name of Blacked. Typically, it's like where teeny bitty, kinky white women are getting tore by big black oiled 11-inch wangers. Does that make sense? And so they were watching a lot of Blacked.
Wow.
And they like big, fine, masculine men.
Y'all.
Google it when you have a chance.
This is from yesterday's testimony.
And then sometimes it'd be like 10 of them. 10 on one white girl. Or 10 on 2. But they all be fine, big, black, muscle, long, buff motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what Diddy would watch. So they went to the Bahamas, they went to Turks and Caicos, they traveled to places. Diddy's taking her places. He brought her bags, he brought her shoes, a Bottega bag. Then she said Diddy told her from the beginning that he was dating other people. Diddy told her that he was polyamorous. And he would date, multiple different women. Okay, there was a lot going on. This man was coming into court, slightly disrupting where I was at. And I wrote too many crackheads allowed at the federal building. But she gave me $5. But anyway.
There was a lot of crackheads up there, y'all.
Her feelings will be hurt over other women. And she would say nasty things about the woman. Bad things. She would call them brothel whores and escorts and blah, 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 blah. And they brought up one person that she was upset with. And they said, you was upset with Young Miami, right? Yeah, I didn't like her. Why? Well, because when she started dating Diddy, he was rolling out the red carpet for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she would post up on Instagram with her. It was really hard to watch. I was pissed because he went public with her. I didn't like Gina either. I didn't like Jesse because he took her to London.
Yeah. The rationale.
He showers Young Miami's with gifts. Got her a Maybach. So she asked for a Van Cleef. So Diddy bought it.
By the way,
I think, and this is where she shaded her. I think.
Hold on. A Van Cleef versus a Maybach. Girl, if I found out she still ain't got a car out of this man, I probably would have asked for the car before I got the house. Or vice versa. You didn't get a car out of this man. Come on, girl. Hop to it. Hop to it now.
She also said that hoe was ran through. And she slept with all of your friends. And you buy her a Chanel bag?
She slept with all of your friends. I know you're not talking, girl. I know you're not talking.
They didn't say that, it was the Chanel bag. But she was like, they didn't say technically it was Young Miami. But
it's a whole clip of
it kind of gave Young Miami because, well, let me show you.
Yes. Okay. He gonna show it. Okay. So we're gonna get it.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Hot color and kettle black. And I'm not talking about the men that she allegedly, unwillingly was with. She's been with this man for.
She talked about the Chanel bag that the girl posted online.
Look at this, y'all.
And how Diddy was in the store with her.
We're gonna get back to the tweets. We're waiting for an update.
And so something jogged my memory. And shout out to my girl Emily for sending me this receipt over. She's doing a phenomenal job covering the case too. But you remember this? Take me to Chanel. Take me to Chanel.
Take me to Chanel. Take me to Chanel.
Remember?
Take me to Chanel. Him. With his friends and his enemies.
So she was pissed about that Chanel bag.
Girl, you need to focus. Don't worry about the bags. You need to be worried about the dicks.
Okay. And they said, do I have that? Hold on. Where do I have that at? Because I'm kind of jumping around maybe. Okay, so this is what she said. Because I have it here.
Y'all, this don't make sense. This is what she's testifying to, guys.
I don't give up who you laying up with. That B is super ran through. All of your friends.
All your friends. That is what she said.
He closed down the store so she could go shopping.
She found that out.
That's why she was pissed.
I'd be mad too. Here she is doing all the work, but I believe Young Miami was also
want a Chanel bag, and you got her a Chanel bag on top of that. My anger is misdirected. She said her anger was misdirected at other women because she really wasn't mad at the girls at the time. She was really mad at Diddy, but she misdirected her anger at them. And they said so.
I think she has a false understanding with ran through is she literally had 4 men in one given night. I don't know that we have any evidence of Carisha doing that. Not that she's above it or anything. I just think that it's wild that what she gets upset about are the monetary things that he does for other women. It's just sad.
So you didn't get a Chanel bag? She said this when she got sassy.
Wait, Ron said this ain't no white girl. Wait, because the white girl wouldn't say ran through her.
She said, no, I only got trauma. Everybody gagged.
That was a good one.
They said, well, what about the Bottega bag? She said, Gergo said, what's a Bottega bag? How much is that? She said, I'm sure you have one of those.
Tell her, Jane.
Like, girl, don't play with me.
Yeah,
you know what a Bottega bag is, and you know how much they are. Gergo said, how much does a Bottega bag cost? And she said, how much does my body cost?
Boom.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, she was giving it to them. Like, girl. And then the judge was like, just answer the question.
In other words, Jane is sick of these people, okay? Jane is ready to fight Teeny. Jane is like, get out of my face with this. Let's get to the questions. Let's get this over with. And I want to go home. Home. And I don't blame you. I do not blame you, Jane. All right. So going back to this. Okay. So where we're at now with the text messages is Jane had proposed that she would do an all-star night for Diddy after the way that she responded and got upset about Paul being there for her birthday with the freak off that she didn't know she was going to be having for her birthday in Turks. She thought and she wanted Turks to just be them, like more similar to when they first got together and that was their first trip, where it was just them two and no one else. Paul, the personal trainer / Paul, the prostitute, comes walking on into the resort or the villa or what have you. And she's upset. But they do that night. She goes ahead and does it. And then later that evening, she gets frustrated, gets mad at Diddy. She felt like it threw off the night and it threw off the trip. So to make it up to him, she proposed an all-star night with 3 of the best dicks of her life. She was going to hand select them and coordinate it. But apparently the first night that they attempted to do that back in Miami, it didn't work with this. Oh, it got canceled. Yes, her dick appointment got canceled due to the hurricane. Yes. Okay. And then it said, then you heard Mr. Combs on a podcast in Croatia where he said he had sex on a yacht trip. And you said, you lied. You lied. That was true. Now, apparently they're changing the topics. And it's now saying, you proposed that y'all go to Zero Bond or Casa Cipriani. Are these 2 private clubs in New York? Yes. But you ended up going to a lounge, right? Yes. And after you rejected the new entertainer for lack of chemistry, that was the stinky man. She didn't like the stinky man. He was like stinky and funky and sweating on her. You called Cabral. Yes, she said. And you said that you were high that night and felt freer. You let Cabral do things you usually didn't. Yes. And then you wrote to Mr. Combs, I love you so much. I did, she said. Now, I want to know, what are some of the things that she let Cabral do to her that she usually didn't? I don't know. Maybe he put it in her tuchus. Put it in her tuchus. Y'all think he put it in her tuchus? I don't know. What else could it be? I just feel like they've kind of done it all. I don't know. Y'all give me some guesses. What do you think she allowed Cabral to do to her this time that she usually didn't? I don't know. I just don't know. Jane likes her some Cabral. Did you see under the X? Yeah. While you read it, it's sitting you. Gotcha. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. That is really strange. What do y'all think that Jane was going to let him do? Piss. Okay. What did y'all call it? Tap in the back door. He piddled. Piss. Okay. Jane was too desperate to settle for the least. Okay. Oh, tapping that back door. She's definitely a tuchus trained girl. Somebody, Carrie said she's not above it. Wait, is this Carrie that I went to school with? Did I go to Cornell with you? Hey, Carrie. Either way, hey, girl. Have you read the defense's suggested jury instructions? No, but I'm looking forward to it. I've actually been waiting on it. I hadn't gotten around to it. Belly button. Dookie play. All right. Croatia is beautiful, and being on a yacht all the way to Greece and Italy. Let me shut up before Jane slaps me too. Don't get slapped by Jane now. So what y'all think? Okay. So Effie Gal said he thinks it's P. Tuchus is the tail end. Thank you for letting him know. Yes, Jess. I want to know if she's letting him fool around with her tuchus. Somebody said swallow. Cabral is able to touch all the walls where Diddy cannot. Jesus. Bodily restroom fluids. Miami herself said she's a W. I don't know. Tushy. Yeah, the tuchus is your tushy. Butt stuff. Somebody. Tuchus translation is exit only. He probably was passionate. A golden milkshake. It is wild that Jane is getting questioned longer than any other witness. And if you notice, there were not a lot of objections on direct when the prosecution was asking her questions. There were not a lot of objections. I think the defense was really letting her talk her way through this kind of silliness. All right. You wrote to me, and Mr. Combs, you spoke about the sobriety party. You resented him for it, right? Yes. You had wanted to break up with him after you saw him with Gina. There were so many times I wanted to break up with him. Oh, let's delve into that. Somebody said you should have. You should have. Yeah, you might have wanted to rethink that one, girl. Yeah, she is really getting questioned. What friends, Miami? Okay. Can I do an unbiased review of the, oh, yeah. Of the Milagro case? Yeah, I started to pull some of those docs. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Of Milagro's case being sued by Rock Nation Meg, people have their opinions. She deserved an unbiased assessment. I want to too, because I feel you got to be really careful with suing bloggers and stuff, because you cannot stifle free speech when someone is giving their assessment of things like legal cases, where you cannot sue someone for defamation for their opinion. A golden shower. Oh, okay. No, Carrie, that wasn't you. Okay, same name though. I'm officially Team Jane. Okay, Marcus. Welcome to Team Jane. Jane. She probably placed the order for the manager special, which is pissed. Okay, y'all are nasty. Here we go. All right, let's see. Okay, let's watch it from here. Hold on. It's saying let's share this one because it's updated. Gary goes, you proposed Zero Bond or Cipriani to private clubs. Yes, but you ended up going to a lounge. Yes. And after you rejected the other entertainer you called Cabral, Gary goes, you said you were high that night and felt freer, and you let Cabral do things you didn't usually. Yes. And then you wrote, I love you so much to Diddy. I did. I'll get to a good stopping point. This is too much. She said, you wanted to break up with him after you saw him with Gina. And I just don't understand. Well, I do understand the humiliation of public relationships with everyone. I'm wondering if maybe he didn't want such a public relationship with her versus, he posted Gina. I think he probably posted Gina because he was probably mad at Young Miami for something, because he seemed like the type that'll do that. He'll taunt one of the other girlfriends. If she gets mad at him for something, would, be manipulative and be like, all right, well, you're mad at me. Fine. I'm going to go be with one of my other chicks and I'm going to put it in your face. So I wouldn't be surprised if him posting that picture of Gina was maybe to annoy the other girlfriends, particularly Young Miami, because Young Miami was the star at the time. She was the main one. That's why she made that post talking about Diddy would have Gina on her knees if that's what Miami wanted. Yeah, absolutely. So, but I think he may not, I'm going to pick my words carefully to make no mistakes. I think he probably didn't want to publicly post Jane because he did not want to create an even larger beef with her baby daddy. Because that man is scary. I'll say that. I think it was the baby daddy that likely was a large part of why Diddy probably didn't want it to be public, because you didn't want to poke that bear. Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you so much for that super chat. Yep. Why post sloppy seconds? I wouldn't do that either. I just realized, why did she have to use my name as a cover up? I'm a classy girl. Ooh, Lucy Jane. That's why she picked Jane as classy. She thinks she's classy too. Triangulation. All right. Can you tell me? I've heard the word before, Miss G.I. Jane. Could you drop a definition of it in the chat? That's why I think he wouldn't beat her. Ooh, Brandy, good point. He might not whoop her. Yeah, I definitely think, spiritually guided, that he got with her to piss off the daddy. Yeah, to piss off the daddy. Diddy wanted to humiliate the baby dad by slutting out the mama. I could see that. Oh, I could see this as well. I Am Goldtini was a better choice to keep her thinking she's in control. It's helping the defense show her being in agreement. Yeah, so we're looking for an update. They're either having a sidebar or I'm wondering. Okay, here we go. We got an update. Here it goes. You were in an Equinox parking lot and you tried to break up with him, right? Yes. Let me play you an audio recording. Sean's voice. We were both tripping. Jane's voice. We need to pick each other up. Oh, they love each other. Interesting. Karen says, this is a comment below. Karen is saying, for me, the defense is taking a gamble by admitting that their client did all the illegal stuff, but we're done with consenting adults. Are jurors seeing it that way, ignoring coercion and all that? I don't know about that. I think it seems like the defense is only acknowledging the criminal stuff for which he's not being charged with. So the DV, for example. They don't seem to be acknowledging any of the other stuff. That would have been never ending. Jane, there is one picture out there. There is a picture out there. That is correct. But I think that one, good. You're doing a good job, Jess. Yeah, you got to time out names. If everyone knows what we're doing and you're okay, it's less control. If that's just you and me, who knows? He did beat her. Yeah. Okay. Tell me how that was relevant to this claim. You might be joining us a little bit later this afternoon. Welcome to have you here, C'est la vie. But we discussed how they beat each other. And the beating wasn't as trafficking by force, in my legal view, because it did not occur until 3 years into the relationship when she was already doing the acts, the hotel nights. So in order for it to be something that has forced you into the S trafficking, it needs to either have started simultaneously with the sex trafficking or something along those lines. But it can't be something that you were already doing and that happened once in your entire relationship. Admit what you can't deny. That's smart. Yeah. Does that mean she told the child's father she was seeing Diddy? The child's father knew she was seeing Diddy. That is true. I don't know if she told him, but he knew. That has come out. Okay. We were both tripping. All right. Then no entertainers that night, right? Right. But it was after that video and Cassie's lawsuit was made public. Yes. Before that, would Mr. Combs write Cassie love letters while with you? What? I'm not sure. Oh, I remember. Girl, what? Girl, he would write Cassie love letters while being with her. That is disgusting. That is all kind of mentally ill. Nadia said Diddy's going to jail because the only thing the team is fighting tooth and nail are the S trafficking allegations. Well, those are also the allegations that could get him life. That can't be right. Oh, I remember. Anybody is with me. If I'm with you, I don't care even if I decide I'm going to be in a polyamorous situation. I don't need to know that if I find out you are writing another woman love letters while you're with me, then it needs to be over. That is such a level of disrespect after the lawsuit. Yes, disrespect. Yeah, I think there's more. Yeah, there are more co-defendants. See, there are co-defendants, but they don't have to bring them to trial. I do. I think that D-Rock is probably one, and I think KK is one. But remember, it's up to the government to prove racketeering. You do not have to show that there are co-defendants at all. Legal side note, Abraham wrote, and I'm going to agree with this one. Historically, let's show you this one. Legal side note. Historically, the government ends with strong witnesses, not like this. The judge complimented Combs' teams for exposing Bongolan's claim about bruises on a balcony. And then there's Jane's claim of, I don't know about both of that. But I'm just agreeing with the fact that, the government historically does end on a strong claim. And that does not seem to be happening. Y'all feel like this is, anybody in the chat, do you feel like Jane's claim is strong? I do know that 50% thought that it could be coercion or the financial coercion or the coercion for not paying her rent or the quality time coercion. What about bonds? He could come. I don't think they're going to call him because I don't think there's enough time. So they're slated to have this woman on the stand through tomorrow, through Thursday. If that's the case, that leaves, and they're supposed to be wrapping up on Friday, it leaves room for only one person. And I know for a fact that they're wanting to call the custodian of voice recordings, phone recordings for the jail. So if they're going to call that person, I just don't see how they would have enough time to also call Roger Bonds and direct and cross-examine him on the stand. Dozens of times Jane's been caught in a lie, wipe out the truth. Well, that's for the jury to decide if there was a lie. Victim 5, what happened to her? That was Mia. Victim 5 was Mia. She said, I want to hear more about these love letters. They said Diddy would be with Jane writing Cassie love letters. Adjourned. All right. Praise God. The day is done. Ciao. So officially, what we ended on today is that Cassie, that victim 3 is Gina, who's nowhere to be found. Gina will be court-martialed at some point in life, I think. Victim 4, if she ever comes back to the United States, at any point, if she comes back to the United States 20 years from now, they can still get her for not showing up. She can be in big trouble, held in contempt and other things. So 3 was Gina. Victim 4, I think, was Mia. Or Bongolan and then Mia. I could be wrong. Oh, okay. Bye, guys. I do that all the time.